97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill. More days here on 97.3 ESPN. The expectation, Mike, is we'll be back on Wednesday here on the Bash. You got me a couple more days here from 2 to 6. What a weekend in the sports world. How about the Phillies? I mean, it's been a kind of an ugly weekend. They're winning some games, maybe a little closer than we'd like, but they're winning games. They're getting the job done as we get closer to the trade deadline, which is tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. Also, a very interesting weekend in sports. You know, a lot of conflicting reports coming out of Eagles training camp. You know, it seems like there is a group of people who I will not name them on the radio because I don't think it's they don't need any more attention than they've gotten. But there seems to be a group of people who have an agenda when it comes to certain Eagle players. They're putting out certain misinformation, and it's bothering certain players and other players even not to care. So we will get into that as well today here on 97.3 ESPN. Here's the lineup we got guest-wise today. Mike McGarry from the Press of Atlantic City at 2:40. He's back from his week vacation. Ryan Rothstein, the host of the Philadelphia CityCast at 3 p.m. Football at 4 with Eagles insider Geoff Mosher from the Inside the Birds podcast. 5:30 p.m. Jeff Kerr from CBS Sports. Jeff Kerr was at Eagles practice today. Geoff Mosher is at Eagles practice multiple days this week. I will also get into the Deshaun Watson thing because after listening to the midday show on national ESPN radio before I came on this microphone and seeing some of the reactions on Twitter, I've come to the conclusion that whether it's because people are just uninformed, misinformed, or ignorant, there's a lot of poor information out there. And, you know, look, I thought the folks in the midday, Jason Fitz and Chris Budden, did their best to politely, you know, address some of those issues. But I think that they came up just a little short of being a little more forceful. Okay. Because there's layers to this stuff that is being ignored by certain outlets and certain people. So we got a lot to get to today here on the Sports Bash. We are going to start with the Eagles. I'm going to get to the Eagles, and I'll get to the Phillies. So I don't know how many of you guys saw this weekend, but there were certain Eagles reporters who, let's say they were going out of their way to paint a picture about Miles Sanders, right? So for those who didn't see all the details, or maybe, you know, it's kind of like a hit or miss thing. So apparently Miles Sanders took second team reps one day and then first team reps another day. And in the reactionary culture that we live in a world where, you know, people just react to everything nowadays, you have a situation where somebody sees something happen at practice and they turn it into an entire news story. Now, I don't blame the player, Miles Sanders in this case, for coming out and complaining about, you know, questions and perceptions and all those things. I don't mind that as a general principle, but I just want to contrast it with his teammate. There's also been hyperbole and skewed reporting, we'll call it. Again, I'm trying to say this as politely as possible because I understand that, some of this stuff is, you don't want to shoot the messenger, but there's also an element of, again, there are certain people who cover the Eagles who are going to go out there and misconstrue things. The reality is that Miles Sanders is getting reps with the first and second team, and that Jalen Hurts has had good and bad days at practice, like everyone does. We literally have not had the Eagles on the practice field for a full 7 days yet. And yet, depending on which news outlet and Eagles reporter you want to consume, you may or may not think that Miles Sanders and or Jalen Hurts are the best and worst of all time. To which I'm going to turn around and say, pump the brakes. I don't blame Miles Sanders for taking issue with questions and certain comments. I do have a concern that Miles Sanders doesn't have a good grasp on reading the room. Look, Nick Sirianni said it himself that Miles Sanders is an important part of this team. But for Miles, that wasn't good enough. You have a situation now with the Eagles where every day has turned into an opportunity for fill-in-the-blank Eagles beat reporter to run with fill-in-the-blank story and turn it into 24 hours of just people losing their minds. You, on one hand, need the beat reporters on site to cover the information, bring you the facts, ask the questions of the players, gather information, present it to you, the public, okay? You, the public, listening to my voice here on 97.3 ESPN FM or on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Wherever you are listening, thank you for listening. And you're listening in part because you're looking to me or Mike Gill or whoever to bring you the information you can't get otherwise. The problem is that we are entering a state of media where no matter what I say, certain people are just going to go run out there and find information to fit what they want. One day, Miles Sanders is on the second team. 2 days later, he rips off a couple nice runs at practice, and all of a sudden, Miles Sanders says, I'm fighting for respect. Well, Miles, you can fight for respect all you want. But the difference is that you're saying you're fighting for respect. Meanwhile, your teammate, Jalen Hurts, is letting his actions and his work ethic speak for himself. I don't think it's a coincidence that we are in a city right now of Philadelphia where Jalen Hurts is not out there addressing every single, speculation, every single news story, while Miles Sanders is. I think Miles Sanders realizes that even though the most pressure isn't on him, it's put up or shut up time for him. Look, Miles Sanders, after that 2019 season where he burst onto the scene and he played well and he was great, right? I mean, the dude was top 10 in the NFL in yards from scrimmage his rookie year. But since then, he can't stay healthy. So Miles Sanders can take things however he wants. But the reality is, one, he hasn't been healthy consistently in his NFL career. Number two, he hasn't played more than 12 games in each of the last 2 seasons. So that means in 2020, he missed 4 games. In 2021, he missed 5 games. And his numbers reflect a very inconsistent level of play. On one hand, he showed you his rookie year that he is a dual threat from the field. But last year, he had the highest number of yards per carry in his career, while the receiving numbers went down. Remember, this was a guy who had 50 catches for 509 yards his rookie year. His last 2 seasons combined, he has 54 catches for 355 yards. So what happened? Is it just the injuries? Is it his lack of ability to grow and evolve as a pass blocker? Is it he's overthinking the situation? Whatever the reason is, Miles Sanders has shown us that while he may be a very talented player on the field, off the field, he's a little sensitive. He's a little sensitive when people say and think about him. To which my reply is, hey, Miles, look at your teammate. I don't see Jalen Hurts being super sensitive about stuff. I don't see Jalen Hurts getting bent about how, well, this reporter said this about me, so I got to show you all the film on when I didn't do those bad things. You know, for every person who wants to tell you that Jalen Hurts had a bad throw, there's 3 other people telling you he had a good throw. But yet there are some people, all they focus on is the bad throw. Miles, guess what? No matter what you do, some people are never going to like you. Some people are never going to approve of you. Some people are never going to be on your side. In fact, your own organization is telling you that you got to pick up the pace. So you got to take that sensitivity and channel it into some productivity, Miles Sanders, because the Eagles, from all reports out there, love Kenny Gainwell. And in fact, a lot of Eagle fans love Kenny Gainwell. Gainwell is a guy who doesn't let the small things bother him. And he is physically smaller than Miles Sanders, as well as his Boston Scott. Think about this. Miles Sanders, according to the Eagles website, is listed at 6'1", 212 pounds. Boston Scott is 5'6", 203. Kenny Gainwell is 5'9", 200. But yet the guys who are smaller in stature are the guys who are handling the pressure better. They're the ones who stepped up big time, multiple points last season. And Miles Sanders has trouble catching passes, has trouble staying healthy, has trouble getting on the field in the big moments. And while, yes, he has very productive games at times, the overall stats of last season don't tell the full story of the season. Miles Sanders had only 2 games over 100 rushing yards, against the Jets and against Washington. He had 1 game of 94, 1 game of 74, 1 of 64, and every other game was under 60 yards rushing. Meanwhile, as a receiver, this was a guy who never received more than 5 targets in a game. And he had 2 games of 5 targets. The rest of the season was either 4 or 3 or 2 or 1. So whether he likes it or not, he in some ways, whether it's through forces out of his control like an injury or happenstance like Gainwell and Scott stepping up, Sanders in some ways has played himself out of the number 1 running back role. So if he's bothered when people report about him, whether it's accurate or not, it's on him just to prove him wrong. But I know for some people it's a difficult thought because, well, they'd rather complain than step up to the plate. Now, the Phillies, stepping up to the plate. Whew. Man, just when I thought the Phillies could make me sweat anymore, they had 3 of the last 4 games all basically decided in the later innings of the game. They almost blew the game Thursday. They went to extra innings Friday and Saturday. Finally, Sunday was an easy game. But man, did they make those games with the Pirates stressful. You know, I've been saying about the Phillies, they need to beat the teams they're supposed to beat. And the 3-game losing streak to the Cubs was ugly. But I got to give the Phillies credit. Since then, this is a team that has won 6 of the last 7. They took 2 out of 3 from the Braves, and then they won 4 straight against the Pirates. And now as we're counting down the hours to the trade deadline, it's looking more and more like the Phillies are going to try to do as much as possible before 6 p.m. tomorrow. Look, I don't know if you guys saw it, but, John Heyman is reporting that, the Phillies are potentially looking at a center fielder. I guess they're fatigued with Odubel Herrera like the rest of us are. We know that they can't get a guy like a Frankie Montas. We know that they're not going to get a certain level of player. But as John Heyman reported, and this is the actual report, says Phillies are looking for some defense in center field. Roman Laureano is one of the players on the market, but not that likely to be moved. Some other considerations for the Phillies include Michael A. Taylor, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Jose Siri. Now, it was noted on MLB Network this morning that, Dombrowski and Jackie Bradley have history. And that's part of the reason why Bradley Jr. could be a target for the Phillies. And, the Red Sox are in a very strange situation because they're a team that came into this season thinking they were a playoff team. Right now, they're 51-52. They're in actually last place in the American League East. Yeah, they're actually a half game behind the Orioles for last place in the East. And when you look around the American League, you realize that the Red Sox have pretty much played themselves out of any contention. But this is the same Red Sox organization that has come around and said, hey, we're not trading Xander Bogaerts and other players. Well, you can say you're not trading those guys, but the reality is that what is the point of keeping some of those guys? Look, Jackie Bradley is a player because of his age, because of his contract situation, that, it makes some sense for them to move him. Now, he's not having a great offensive year, all right? Bradley's having one of the worst hitting seasons of his career. Don't let the 3 homers and 29 RBI and 19 doubles fool you, because he's got a .257 on base percentage. That is the second worst on base percentage of the last 7 years for Bradley. And even though he's still a plus level defensive player, what you're doing is, if you acquire Bradley, what you're basically getting is someone who is better than Odubel Herrera. That's all you're doing. You're getting a guy who he bats left-handed, he throws right-handed, he plays center field. He's not a very good hitter, but he's going to give you high-level defense. If people are okay with that, then sure, I'm cool with it. If you're genuinely going to tell me that, hey, we're not going to give a ton away, we're not going to trade a ton of prospects, right? Like we just saw Josh Hader for the Brewers traded the Padres today, the Brewers closer. But the Padres didn't give away like elite prospects. They gave away good, not great prospects, according to MLB.com, their player rankings, their prospect rankings. So if Josh Hader can be had for what, at least for the Padres, are mid-level prospects, hey, why can't the Phillies get a Jackie Bradley at a discount? Why can't the Phillies get fill-in-the-blank player for a discount? I think today is a very interesting day to find out with the Phillies on an off day as they travel to Atlanta. Do the Phillies organization get a deal done today while they're traveling, or do they wait up until the deadline tomorrow? Because remember, after that 2-game set with Atlanta, they come home for a homestand. They got 4 games against Washington and 3 games against the Marlins. 2 teams you should be able to beat. You just beat up by the Pirates. You took 2 out of 3 against the Braves last week. The Phillies are sitting there at a crossroads. And I hope that Dave Dombrowski doesn't try too hard to wait out the market. Because like I said, I just saw Josh Hader. And let me get you the exact players. Basically, Hader was traded for some, good but not great prospects. He was traded for Taylor Rogers, Robert Gasser, Estuary Ruiz, and Dinelson Lamet. Now, according to, as I said, reports, they didn't give up their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 level prospects. And they didn't give up most of their top 10 prospects to get Josh Hader. And if you can get Josh Hader for that interesting of a return, why can't you get Jackie Bradley? Why can't you get fill-in-the-blank players? Personally, I would love to see the Phillies come out of this deadline with a starting pitcher and a center fielder like Jackie Bradley, because you can't bring in enough guys at this point. You need more players. You need more people, because we don't know exactly how long Harper and Segura are going to be out. Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill here on the Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Text board is open at 609-403-0973 to get on the conversation. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City. And don't forget, if you have the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, if you have the app, you would have gotten the alert already telling you how you can win tickets to go see Russell Peters, the award-winning comedian, in Atlantic City later this month. All the details over on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. We will be giving away 5 pairs of tickets this week. So if you want to go see Russell Peters' new show at Ovation Hall at Ocean Resort Casino in Atlantic City, August 20th, then all you got to do is open up the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, fill out the form, and you are automatically qualified to win a pair of tickets. And we will be announcing winners throughout the week. You just have to have the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City, in order for you to win.
When you need live sports play-by-play.
Forget it. Out of here. Rhys Hoskins will touch them all over that right center field wall.
And the best sports talk in South Jersey. There's only one place to go. 97.3 ESPN.
Free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Get Xfinity Internet at home free through the Affordable Connectivity Program. Qualifying customers can get Internet Essentials Plus, a $29.95 a month value, free. Go to Xfinity.com/free. Call 1-800-XFINITY or visit an Xfinity store today. Restrictions apply.
Hon, look, it's Harper. How did he know we were at the beach?
No clue, but he's not ruining our vacation. I packed Prilosec OTC. With just 1 pill in the morning, Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid production that can cause frequent heartburn, so we can enjoy ourselves.
Speaking of, time for our luau.
Aloha heartburn.
1 pill, 24 hours, 0 heartburn with Prilosec OTC. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Did you take those big down payments?
You're darn right I did.
Your Honor, he is breaking the laws of Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City. They made it clear It's a crime to pay more than a dime. Every new Mitsubishi, one dime down.
Take them away. And at Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City, ask for credit amnesty.
If you bring home $350 a week, you could get up to $25,000 in credit. So, what's the beat on inventory?
Other dealers are struggling, but not Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City. 40 new Outlanders in stock now. An entire fleet of new and pre-owned. New Mitsubishis from just $17,000.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime.
Every vehicle, one dime down.
At the all-new Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City.
In Pleasantville, they service all makes and models.
Springfield Mitsubishi AC.com. Springfield Mitsubishi AC.com.
New 22 Mirage, 16 Ford, 9 down, $249 a month for 72 months at 3% APR, plus tax tag title to qualified buyers.
Did you get the Clement Horizon clean last night? I don't want another barnacle incident. Where's Ivan?
Kiki's head of docking operations just jumped ship.
What do you mean he's sailing around the world?
She needs a new marina manager to help keep her head above water.
Yeah, the tide's perfect, but we are slammed.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
O'Reilly. Improve your vehicle's gas mileage and power with Royal Purple Fuel Injector Cleaner at O'Reilly Auto Parts. And right now, buy one 6-ounce bottle and get one free, plus earn double O Rewards points with your purchase. Save money on gas and boost performance with Royal Purple Fuel Injector Cleaner at O'Reilly Auto Parts or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Why would someone looking for a mortgage at the Jersey Shore take a loan from a company in Detroit or North Carolina or some other far-off place? Online mortgages promise a lot, but don't always deliver. First Bank of Sea Isle City knows the Jersey Shore. We are local lenders. We use local appraisers and provide in-house processing. We understand the unique obstacles of financing in Cape May County. Don't take a chance. Local banking is better. Let us guide you. First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a really big tree near your garage. Now, I'm a really big tree on your garage and car. And if you don't have the right insurance, the cost to fix this could leave you wishing money grew on trees. So bundle your home and auto with Allstate to save up to 25% and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected. Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Auto prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You have the choice, whether it's going out to dinner or ordering takeout at a local restaurant or buying that new outfit from a local boutique. Those choices help to put money back into your community. And Town Square Media South Jersey puts a spotlight on local businesses. Made Anew Home Remodeling. Make your dreams a reality. MadeAnewHomeRemodeling.com. Dr. Lyle M. Back for everything skincare to cosmetic surgery. Go to ILoveLyleBack.com. Comfort Now by Bob McAllister. Improve the comfort in your home. Call 609-400-1005 and ask about discounts, rebates, and incentives. Online, IWantComfortNow.com. Maurice Piers. For tickets and passes, visit MauricePiers.com. East Coast Roofing, Siding, and Windows serves all of South Jersey. If you call, they'll show up. Call East Coast today at 609-646-1444. Online at eastcoastroofing.com. Thank you for supporting your local businesses from Town Square Media, South Jersey.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
Two o'clock hour of the Sports Bash being brought to you by American Airlines and Atlantic City International Airport. ACY now is your one-stop ticket to over 90 domestic and international destinations. Book your next trip today at AA.com. Get it, guys. Some of you guys' thoughts and comments. Of course, you can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. Sea Isle City text board is open as well at 609-403-0973. Still to come, Mike McGarry from the Press of Atlantic City in about 10 minutes from now. Also, Ryan Rothstein from the Philadelphia City Cast at 3 p.m. Football at 4 with Eagles insider Geoff Mosher from the Inside the Birds podcast. The CBS Sports NFL writer Jeff Kerr at 5:30. Over on the text board at 609-403-0973. Texter chimes in from Delaware saying Phillies need Ian Happ from the Cubs and a starting pitcher for sure. I like the idea of Ian Happ because, Happ is a switch hitter. And I think the Phillies could really use that kind of versatility instead of this like left-right platoon situation. The only question I have about Happ is, one, how much more is it going to take to get him than, let's say, like a Jackie Bradley? Because Happ's having, if not his best, one of his best seasons with the Cubs. He was an all-star for the first time this year. He is a guy who I'm going to assume is going to be in demand by a few teams. The other part with Happ is he's a little younger than Jackie Bradley. And you have to wonder if you are a team like the Phillies, let's say, when you look at Ian Happ, you're getting a guy who is under contract this year. And then is arbitration available next year. So he's under team control for another year. He becomes a free agent after next year, unrestricted. So Happ, who's younger than Jackie Bradley, who is under a favorable situation, right? Whereas Bradley is older. He's not having as good of a year. Bradley is under full contract control next year on a mutual option. So Happ's contractual situation plus his age would make him definitely more appealing, at least to me. And obviously the texter texted in 609-403-0973. The problem is how much more is going to take to get Ian Happ compared to Jackie Bradley Jr., let's say. And I think that, Dombrowski has shown already that he is the kind of player he's kind of GM, I should say, who likes players who he has familiarity with, right? Nick Castellanos being one of those examples. You have to ask yourself, if Castellanos wasn't, familiar and had not worked with Dombrowski in the past, would he be here? Right? These are things you have to have questions about with Dombrowski. Again, I'm not saying that's the exact reason why he's here, but I think it certainly has to be part of the conversation. I'm sure Schwarber would like to see Ian Happ come here because they're former teammates. They, on that World Series team together. Tom in Margate chimes in at 609-403-0973. Tom says, I'm praying that the Phillies get another Gibson-like starter. You might be praying hard, Tom, but you might get it. I don't know. It's weird because last week, like the Thursday, Friday, and then a little bit on Saturday, there was a lot of rumblings that the Phillies were looking at the starting pitching market. Then all of a sudden this morning, all of the chatter is turned to center field. So are they still going for the pitcher? I remember last year, there was not a lot of buildup to the Phillies getting Gibson. And you're talking about getting a Gibson type starter. Well, you could still get a Gibson type starter for sure. But I think that the Phillies have to be honest with themselves about what they're willing to give up. Part of the problem with this trade deadline, it seeming like, is that teams are not interested in trading and moving their best prospects for players. You're seeing a lot of trades happen without teams' 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 best prospects. The Ben Tendy trade with the Yankees, or now the Josh Hader trade with the Padres. So if the market is saying you're not going to be able to, give up a ton to get something, that you don't have to do that, then I think it's fair to wonder, well, what does that mean the Phillies can get? Because there's a report out today, for example, that the A's are already telling multiple teams, hey, Frankie Montas, we're done dealing with you. We already have an offer for him. And there's speculation that Montas is going to the Yankees. Well, if Frankie Montas is going to the Yankees, doesn't that mean that, I don't know. Again, some of this stuff, we're purely speculating. There's a lot of this is speculation. And look, Tom and Margate, I appreciate you chiming in. I will ask your Pete Thompson question to him, though, when I talk to Pete next, Tom and Margate. Tuesday with Thompson tomorrow at 5 p.m. here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on a Monday. I think it's certainly possible that you could find a Kyle Gibson type pitcher because, the one guy who was talked about a lot previously and whose name has kind of faded into the background is Martin Perez. Now, Martin Perez is a free agent after this year. So you would acquire him for a rental. But he's 31 years old, so he's not old. And while he's not a Luis Castillo, he's not a Frankie Montas level pitcher, he is somebody who would have value to a team like the Phillies. 2.52 ERA. He's having a good year. The 107 strikeouts, 125 innings does bother me just a little bit. But the low home run number is a big deal to me because when you're in a hitter-friendly park like Texas and you come to Philadelphia, which is not exactly much more pitcher-friendly than Texas is, I would assume that Martin Perez could be a guy that you could go out and acquire. Now, I don't know what the Rangers are asking for him, but if you're the Rangers, you have to be honest and be like, look, this guy's a 2-month rental. So Tom from Margate, to your point, he's not Kyle Gibson-esque, but he might be the best you can get. Look, if the Phillies walk out of the deadline with Martin Perez and Jackie Bradley Jr., are you happy out there? Philly fans, let me know. 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Coming up on the other side, Mike McGarry is back from his vacation just in time with the baseball trade deadline a little more than 24 hours away. We'll get into the conversation with him about the Phillies next here on 97.3 ESPN FM. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on a Monday afternoon, the first day of August.
Your official station for Summer at the Shore.
There goes the runner. The pitch is a little high. Throw to second. Out at second. Oh, JT Real Mucho with an absolute laser down to second to get Arenado.
97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime.
Every vehicle, one dime down.
At the all-new Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City. SpringfieldMitsu.com.
When flying insects show up in your home, how do you get rid of them? Hopelessly clapping every single one? Aimlessly swatting back and forth? Hanging fly strips in your living room? Ew, ew, ew. Instead, try Zevo Traps. Zevo uses light, not odor or chemical insecticides, to attract and trap bugs, working continuously so you don't have to. Zevo, people-friendly, bug-deadly. Now at a store near you.
It's back to school time, so here's a lesson in big wireless hype. Flashy phone plan deals usually don't add up to actual savings. Graduate to Straight Talk Wireless and get our Silver Unlimited plan with unlimited high-speed data and 5 gigs of hotspot data for just $45 a month. Plus, get a Samsung Galaxy A13 5G for only $149, all on America's best 5G networks. Unlimited data, less money, no brainer. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. A month equals 30 days. See latest terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
You finally got that new car, so you called your insurance company.
Your call is important to us. Please hold.
We are the tippy top workshop insurance.
You ended that call with their jingle stuck in your head. Then you called NJM.
Thanks for calling NJM Insurance. This is Claudia. Let's see if we can save you up to 25% on your auto insurance.
No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Visit njm.com for a quote.
This should be 8x7. When it comes to closets, Janina's home organization business runs tip-top tidy.
Is this schedule right? I'm gonna need help.
But she needs to reorganize and find a new assistant.
I know, it's your last week, but can you make sure the Hanson pantry's wrapped?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that.
We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Hey, I'm Jackie, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is the chicken. It is golden brown, so juicy, so delicious. It's the perfect savory start to my day.
Hey, I'm Matt, and the little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is the freshly baked, flaky, buttery biscuit. When I take a bite, it's kind of like, crispy, soft, crispy. Crispy outside, soft interior, crispy chicken. There's really nothing like it.
Start your day with the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit, available on the Chick-fil-A app. Real Chick-fil-A guests paid for their testimonials.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can save just by being you. DriveWise in the Allstate mobile app gives you personalized driving feedback. And by adding it to your policy, you can save for driving safe just by being yourself. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Not available in every state. Savings based on DriveWise and other safe driving discounts. Savings vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This summer, escape to the Jersey Cape, a place that's real and really charming. Come relax, really relax on our beaches, or maybe just sit on a porch and daydream. Explore our trails, discover our natural areas, or go camping, walk the boardwalk, visit a museum or a lighthouse, experience our eclectic dining, or try your hand at fishing and crabbing. Sample our homegrown fruits and vegetables, local wines, brews, and spirits, or participate in our outdoor activities, special events, and live entertainment found beyond our world-famous beaches. Visit the Free County Park and Zoo for a trip on the wild side. Enjoy authentic experiences where the arts easily connect to nature. The food comes directly from the sea or soil, and the outdoors go from birding to playing in the surf. Stay at a modern motel or a quaint bed and breakfast inn. Escape the everyday and pursue your passions at the Jersey Cape. It's authentically charming and sincerely yours. Escape to thejerseycape.com. Sponsored by Cape May County Tourism.
Now, back to more Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's sports leader.
2:42 here on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Mike McGarry joins us from the Press of Atlantic City at AC Press McGarry on Twitter, pressofatlanticcity.com for all of his sports coverage. He is back after his week off. And Mike, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but Gil is not back yet. So you're stuck with me for at least one more day. How you doing?
I'm doing well, and that figures. I think Gil is on the eternal vacation. I guess he's on social media trying to convince us he can't find a flight back from Paris or Ireland or any of those places. I'm not sure how much we actually believe that.
All I know is that I am not going to be the person to explain it. I will let him explain himself whenever he gets back. That's my position.
It's amazing how he gets stuck in all these great places. Paris, one of the great cities of the world, apparently doesn't have any flights to the United States of America. So, well, again, like you said, we'll let him figure that out.
Yeah. So, Mike, let's get to the Phillies because, with the deadline basically 6 p.m. tomorrow, Eastern time, there's a lot of rumors about the Phillies, but they haven't done anything yet. What is your perspective on the Phillies ahead of the deadline here?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. It goes back to what I've always said on Dave Dombrowski's 2 jobs this season, and he's trying to do 2 things at once. A is rebuild the team for the long-term future, and B, make the playoffs this season. So, and here is where it's actually, you've got to balance both of them at the trade deadline right now. I think they would need, obviously another starting pitcher would help with Eflin out. I like the idea of a center fielder who could catch the ball. I actually like the idea of Jackie Bradley Jr. coming in here. He catches everything. He could play center field. He's not much of a hitter, but if you bat him ninth and he supplies the defense that he supplies in center field. I mean, think of it. How many games this year have the Phillies? I can think of a couple off the top of my head that they've lost because they haven't been able to catch the ball in center field. So I would like a guy like that. And at the same time, I'm not inclined to give up any of the prospects that they have, the Andrew Painters, the Abels, the even the catcher, Ohapi, Griff McGarry, a minor league pitcher. I'm not inclined to give up those guys yet. I see a team that's in fifth, in sixth place in the wild card spot right now, and is only a game and a half behind the Padres for the fifth spot. So
I'll spin it back to you, what I was saying previously, and ask you, Mike. Are you encouraged at all by the fact that we're seeing so many trades where other teams are not giving up their best prospects? The Yankees got Benintendi for their organization, mid-level prospects. Same thing with the Padres when it comes to Hader.
Yeah, I think the Yankees, system is much deeper than the Phillies system right now. So their mid-level prospects might be top-level guys in the Phillies organization. The Yankees haven't parted with any of their top guys. They haven't parted with Anthony Volpe, the shortstop out of Del Barton High School, who's considered one of the top prospects in all of baseball. The Padres trade, to me, for Hader, I think the Brewers were dealing from a position of strength in the fact that they've got Devin Williams, who has been one of the top relievers in baseball, right behind Hader, and can easily slide into that closing spot right there. So, and the Padres did give up some major league talent for Hader there. So again, I don't want to say I'd let it ride with the Phillies, but I think another starter and some defensive help, and I'm not. And let's not forget, you're going to get back Gene Segura. You're going to get back Bryce Harper. Those are two huge deals right there. It's like the Mets starting Jacob deGrom tomorrow night. If deGrom stays healthy from now to the end of the season, I guarantee you there's not a pitcher going to be traded in the next, 36 hours who's going to be better than Jacob deGrom.
And by the way, even if deGrom is not super elite deGrom, like even if he's not 1.5, if deGrom goes out there, has let's say a 3 ERA the rest of the season, and he has more strikeouts and innings pitched, the Mets are going to be thrilled, right?
Exactly. I mean, you hear names of guys being thrown around. Tyler Mahle of Cincinnati is one of them. Who would you want, Tyler Mahle of Cincinnati or Jacob deGrom on the mound for you? And the flip side is it works like that for the Phillies offense. I mean, that's why I say defensive guy in center field, a guy like Jackie Bradley, who you can take, who isn't a great hitter but catches everything, because you're going to get Segura back and you're going to get Bryce Harper back. And again, could the Phillies go out and make a deal in the next 36 hours that's going to have more of an impact on the lineup than getting those two guys back? I don't think so. And I'm not selling those young prospects because I want to do the two things. I want to build a core of homegrown youth players so this team doesn't have to go through another drought from 2011 to maybe 2022 where they don't make the playoffs.
Mike McGarry from the Press of Atlantic City joining us here on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. Now, with that being said, when you look at Jackie Bradley, if the Phillies were to acquire him, am I safe to assume that means it's the end of Odubel Herrera because they're both left-handed hitters and Bradley is the better player of the two?
You know what? It never seems to be the end of Odubel Herrera, does it? I mean, there's been countless times where we've said this will be the end, this will be letting him go. But however, if you were to bring in Jackie Bradley Jr., you're exactly right. I mean, it would seem to be the end of Odubel Herrera this time because you would want to keep Vierling, who's actually hit the ball well, hit it hard from the right-hand side of the plate and has played well this year. So I think you're correct in there. If you did bring in somebody like that, the guy you would probably part with is Odubel Herrera.
Mike, let's spin it back to a couple other things in the area. First of all, I want to ask you, because when this news came out a little bit earlier today, I saw your article. I almost wasn't sure if I was reading it correctly. At the end of an era at St. Joe's, this is a big deal. I mean, we're talking about in the same calendar year that was the end of Gene Allen at Atlantic City. And after this year, it's going to be the end with Paul Sacco at St. Joe.
Yeah, Paul Sacco, the St. Joe football coach, announced earlier today, and we have a story up on our website right now at pressofac.com that this will be his last football season coaching St. Joe. And if you know anything about the St. Joe football program, they've won 20 state titles since the state non-public playoffs began in 1993. He is South Jersey's winningest football coach with 352 career wins coming into the season. I believe he's the state's winningest active high school football coach with that record. He's been at St. Joe for 40 years. He played at St. Joe, so he's been associated with St. Joe in one way or another for nearly 50 years. And he kind of announced today, that this would be his last season, basically saying that, him and the school have kind of mutually agreed to sort of finish up like this or part ways. And, it's just another sign out there, like Gene Allen stepping down, that, nothing lasts forever. And guys that we thought were going to be there forever and seemed like they were going to be there forever, it just isn't the case.
Do we read into anything from Coach Sacco's comments? Because, the one quote that you have in your article, Mike, is that I knew the school was going in a different direction. That's fine. That's their prerogative. I mean, that's not just a regular comment coming from a high school coach right there.
Yeah, it seems like, the school and him have had some differences on how to proceed going further, and they've come together to sort of agree on one more season. And, St. Joe has had a tough couple of years. They were closed. The Camden Diocese shut them down in 2020 because of a lack of enrollment. At that point, the school has had some new administration the past, since last October. They've gotten a new president. They've gotten a new athletic director.
Right.
And I just think when new people come into any organization, things change and there are changes. And I think this is just a byproduct of that situation. Organizations change. Maybe they want to go in different directions. Maybe they want to do things in a different way. And it just has meant, Coach Sacco and the school kind of, mutually agreeing here to part ways at the end of the season. Because you're right, he was quite clear in the article too that he intends to keep coaching. He wants to keep coaching. He's 65 years old. He wants to keep coaching 3 to 5 more years. He joked with me, although this is the type of guy who's completely serious. He's like, he says, I don't know if somebody will hire me as an assistant coach. And I tried to assure him that, your 352 wins and 20 state championships, I guarantee you there will be a program somewhere in South Jersey that will welcome Coach Sacco in. And he can obviously bring a lot to those, type of programs. Same way, Clyde Folsom, the former West Deptford coach who had great success at West Deptford, is now a mainland assistant. I talked to those guys this morning, and they were kind of thrilled with what Clyde has brought to the program. So I'm sure the same thing can happen for Coach Sacco.
The other side of this I want to ask you about, Mike, is, in today's world where there's the, school choice and kids can, move around much more than they, especially even when I was in high school. I mean, when I was in high school, you had basically 2-3 options. That was it. Nowadays, these kids have a gazillion options. Is there any concern potentially maybe from certain people that wherever Sacco goes, he's going to have an exodus follow him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he'd be a big asset for a lot of programs. Coming in there, a big name like that. I guess there was concern that even some players might leave St. Joe knowing it's his last year and he's not going to be there for his junior and senior year. But one thing he said that really stuck with him over the weekend when he was considering even stepping down, before the season even began, that a number of current players came to him and said, I don't care that you're not going to be here beyond this year coming up. I want to play for you for 1 year. I want to finish it out with you. And I think that in the end is what kind of moved him and made him at least want to coach one more season at St. Joe.
Well, we are just weeks away from the start of the high school football season. Major story with Mike McGarry in the Press of Atlantic City over at pressofatlanticcity.com. You can read the full story with all the quotes over there. Great stuff, Mike, today. Appreciate you jumping on. The assumption is that Gil will be back on Wednesday the next time you're on the Bash.
We'll see about that. I won't believe it until I hear his voice. So there you go.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this story, in high school sports, to have people like an icon like Gene Allen and an icon like Paul Sacco, both, stepping away, ending their tenures with their schools, basically in the same 12-month period is just, it's mind-blowing to me. When I was younger, when I was in high school, which was a while ago, but, you looked around and you saw certain people and you identified them with a school and them with a program. And Paul Sacco is one of those people that the dude was a staple of the region. And now, he's going to walk away. I mean, there's a part of me that hopes that wherever he goes, a bunch of kids leave St. Joe, because if you read those quotes, it sounds like Sacco is not too happy about leaving. All right, coming up next, Ryan Rothstein for the Philadelphia City Cats. We got a lot to get into with Ryan on the other side here on 97.3. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill on a Monday.
We're Town Square Media, and along with the awesome radio station you're listening to right now, we're publishers of best-in-class national entertainment brands like Taste of Country, Pop Crush, and more. And when combined with our local brands, we can reach over 70% of consumers in our community. At Town Square, all this digital clout puts us in a unique position to help local businesses grow with powerful marketing solutions. In addition to local radio, we're experts at web design and SEO, plus targetable advertising solutions like streaming TV, addressable geofencing, YouTube, Snapchat, Facebook, Spotify, search engine marketing, and so much more. That may sound like a lot of buzzwords, but really all that matters is we can deliver a relevant and ideal target audience to your business with data-informed decisions. No guessing, no waste, and you gain a trusted marketing partner with Town Square Media.
Take your business to the next level. Call our Director of Sales, Jim McLean, today at 609-910-5247.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Straight Talk Wireless knows there are plenty of reasons you might need a new phone. But switching to a better wireless provider doesn't have to be one of them. Keep your own phone and save when you switch to any Straight Talk Wireless plan, like our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with unlimited high-speed data and 5 gigs of hotspot, plus nationwide 5G on America's best networks. Keep your own phone. Switch to a better wireless plan. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Requires a compatible unlocked phone and KYOP kit. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See latest terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Why would someone looking for a mortgage at the Jersey Shore take a loan from a company in Detroit or North Carolina or some other far-off place? Online mortgages promise a lot, but don't always deliver. First Bank of Sea Isle City knows the Jersey Shore. We are local lenders. We use local appraisers and provide in-house processing. We understand the unique obstacles of financing in Cape May County. Don't take a chance. Local banking is better. Let us guide you. First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can save just by being you. DriveWise in the Allstate mobile app gives you personalized driving feedback, and by adding it to your policy, you can save for driving safe just by being yourself. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Not available in every state. Savings based on DriveWise and other safe driving discounts. Savings vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
When flying insects show up in your home, how do you get rid of them? Hopelessly clapping every single one? Aimlessly swatting back and forth? Hanging fly strips in your living room? Ew, ew, ew. Instead, try Zevo traps. Zevo uses light, not odor or chemical insecticides, to attract and trap bugs, working continuously so you don't have to. Zevo, people friendly, bug deadly. Now at a store near you.
Matt Black Kia wants to give you independence. Yes, independence. Like freedom from down payments, freedom from payments for 3 months, and freedom from your old car. Plus, if you have a job and clear $350 per week, Matt Black Kia wants to approve you today on any brand new Kia or pre-owned vehicle in stock, or one of hundreds of new 2023 Kia models en route, all with 0 down and 0 payments for 90 days. So bring any trade in any condition, even if you're stuck in a loan or lease. Matt Black Kia wants to get you released. Get cash for your car today, even if you don't buy a car from us. But why wouldn't you buy a new Kia? Because you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Black Kia.
Unapproved credit plus applicable taxes and fees. See dealer for details. Not all will qualify. Deferred payment through TFCU. Interest accrues from date of sale. Offers don't combine. Go to mattblackkianj.com for complete details. Expires 8/7/22. Matt Black Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 in Toms River.
South Jersey's play-by-play home for the Eagles,
Touchdown!
Sixers, and Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill here on a Monday edition on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank and Sea Isle. This hour of the Sports Bash being brought to you by Garden State Beer Company. At Garden State Beer Company in Galloway, their motto is a beer for everyone. Contact them today at 609-232-BEER. That's 609-232-BEER for the Garden State Beer Company in Galloway. By the way, don't forget, right now, if you get the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, you can qualify to win a pair of tickets to go see Russell Peters' latest comedy tour stop at Ovation Hall, August 20th. Ovation Hall at Ocean Resort Casino in Atlantic City is where you can see Russell Peters this year. All you got to do is have the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Download it for free from the Apple App Store, Google Play. If you already have it, you already got the alert today about Russell Peters' concert tickets. All you got to do is go on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, fill out the form, and you hit the submit button with all your information, and you are automatically qualified. And then throughout the week, we will announce winners. We have 5 pairs of tickets. 5. So there's 5 chances for you to go see Russell Peters in concert August 20th, Ovation Hall at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. And you can get the tickets right now. All you got to do is qualify with the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Joining us now is the host of the Philadelphia CityCast, Ryan Rothstein. Listen, this has been a busy weekend. I'm not even fully sure we're going to get to everything today, so I'm going to try to be as hyper-specific with Ryan as possible, because Ryan and I probably could host a show for 4 hours. Oh, wait, we've already done that before. Ryan, how you doing today?
Doing well, man. Yes, we have. Been there, done that.
So let's hit on a couple things. First of all, let's get the Phillies stuff out of the way. So obviously there's been a lot going on, but the Phillies have not been one of the teams making deals. So I want to start with here, Ryan. The Yankees acquired Andrew Benintendi for some, what you would call average prospects, right? Josh Hader just got traded for the Brewers to the Padres for basically not even the Padres' top 10 prospects. Like, apparently the Padres system is so deep, they could trade like dudes from like 10 to 20 and still get an all-star closer. So with that being said, are you, Ryan Rothstein, maybe a little encouraged to be like, hey, these teams got players without giving up their best prospects? That means the Phillies should be able to do some work here.
No. No, and it's probably just because how my
Philadelphia?
mindset in general with the Phillies and the deadline. I just, if they surprise me, that's awesome. But like I said before, I'll say it again. For me, I think they're going to add a piece or two that's mid-tier, like a starting arm, 4th or 5th in the rotation. I'm not expecting to get wowed, right? That would be a pretty big surprise to me. If it happens, awesome. But I don't look at those moves and then try and get my hopes up or anything. Like for me, even if they do pull off something that I wasn't expecting, it's still within, right? It's still going to come down to the guys that are already on the Philadelphia Phillies, that's already in the Phillies clubhouse. It's still going to come down to what version of Harper are they going to get? Gene Segura coming back. Still going to come down to what version of JT Realmuto. Can Alec Boehm keep this up? I doubt it, but can he be close to this level for another month or two? What version of Nola are we going to get? So I'm not poo-pooing this deadline like it means nothing. It's important, but the bigger deal to me, Josh, already lies within.
So let me ask you this, and obviously this is completely conjecture, but it's a fun conversation to have. If the Phillies walk out of this deadline with Jackie Bradley Jr. and Martin Perez, are you happy? Are you happy as a Phillies fan?
Yeah, I'm happy, right? I mean, are you happy? It's like happy is, all right, what are we expecting them to do, right?
Are you content? Are you good with it? Can you accept that reality kind of thing?
Yeah, because I think I know there's a ceiling, right? Until we're proven wrong here in the next 26 hours, whatever it is. I'm realistic about what they're going to be able to get because of what they're going to be able to offer, right? But back to my point there, and to start this conversation, I'm not going to look at any move that they make and say, all right, you know what? I wasn't sure about this team making the playoffs on August 1st, but now I'm sure. Like that there's not a move out there for that to occur. So because of that, I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but nothing's going to significantly tip the scales for me. I don't know how you feel.
No, listen, that's fair. I'm kind of in between. Like I'm kind of existing in a gray area for me because on one hand, Ryan, I'm looking at him like, look, it doesn't matter who they acquire. It's going to be whatever. You know what I mean? Like that's my one instinct, because to me, at the end of the day, the guys who are here still have to do their jobs. Like, look, you beat the Pirates. You should beat the Pirates, right? Like, that's how I look at it. So for me, I look at the Phillies and I'm like, look, whoever you get the deadline, it doesn't matter if they don't produce. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course. Absolutely. But, you bring up the Pirates series just now that just ended, obviously. That's a big deal to me, right? Like, I'm not vastly impressed. I mean, the Pirates are a joke. You and I talked about it Friday. Like the Phillies should take 3 or 4 in this series, right? But winners of 5 in a row now. Listen, this is a huge series mini set here in Atlanta for 2 games. Let's get really weird for a second. What if the Phillies capitalize and win both these games? Now you're coming back home for 4 games at home against the lowly, pathetic Washington Nationals. Like you have a chance to win 10, 11 games in a row here. That's a huge deal. That's a big opportunity right in front of them.
Yeah, to me, the bigger deal is not the deadline. Listen, as I get the headlines, the Phillies are going to make a trade or two. We all know that by 6 p.m. tomorrow. My thing is, great, you make a trade, but like you said, you need Boehm to keep still doing something. You need Schwarber to keep hitting some home runs. You need Segura to come back from the injury. You need Harper to get the pins out of his thumb so he can come back. Like, to me, there's so much here that needs to be dealt with. Like, for example, enough with Jarius Familia. Let's see more of some other guys. Like, there's so many other things. And part of me is like, look, how about this? If you could guarantee me that after the deadline, Odubel Herrera and Jarius Familia are no longer on this roster, I don't even care who you get. How about that?
Yeah, you're going to be that happy that they're out of sight, out of mind.
I'm just over it. I'm over, Rob Thompson. Well, Familia came out and had 2 good outings before the bad one. It's like, okay, that's our measuring point.
Yeah.
I mean, or like Herrera and his just strange. I mean, the dude makes strange decisions in the field sometimes.
Yeah, he's I'm a little bit sick and tired of him as well. With both of them for sure, but maybe not as much as you are, but I can completely appreciate and understand the frustration that you have. Like for me, we talk about what can the Phillies do in the next day leading up to the deadline that can maybe change how we feel. It's almost what other teams may or may not do, right? Because there's rumors that some other teams may be able to land a really big fish or two, and that could negatively impact the Phillies.
Ryan Rothstein, he's the host of the Philadelphia City Cast. Download, subscribe it wherever you get your podcast. That was a good interview conversation you had with Geoff Kerr the other day. I enjoyed that on one of my drives.
Nice.
I was doing a lot of driving this weekend, way more than I expected. So it's like, all right, well, I got some time to put on this podcast. Oh, it's Ryan's podcast. Geoff Kerr. All right, I'll listen to this.
Why were you doing so much driving?
I mean, I had a lot of errands to run on Saturday, and then I got overly encouraged to go out Saturday night, and then I got invited to go out Sunday afternoon, which is where I got this bracelet from. So,
tough life, man.
I'm not saying it's a tough life. I'm just saying that, well, maybe it's tough on my bank account, but I gotta get gas soon. But speaking of Philadelphia sports, so obviously Miles Sanders whining this weekend about news reports about him. Nick Sirianni being hyper defensive as he always. Apparently, the Eagles are going to be in pads tomorrow. Not that I really care at this point.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, look, here's where I'm with practice right now. I want to ask you, Ryan, doesn't it feel like this year that literally it doesn't matter what is reported? There are people who are literally just latching on to this guy's good, this guy's bad, and that's all that matters from based on like one tweet or one video or one report. It's like it's practice, people. They haven't been on the field for 7 days. I'm not going to judge the entire Eagles season off of 1 or 2 practices.
Practice? We're talking about practice, not a game. Not a game, Josh.
Not a game.
It's what fans do now. Listen, you're going to overreact and overanalyze everything that gets posted on Twitter, especially with the NFL, especially in Philadelphia. So it's expected, man. Philly has been dying to talk birds again. A lot of hype and expectations and noise around this team. It's going to be a little bit too much at times, but I love it. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Miles Sanders is a joke, by the way.
I think Miles Sanders, this is the first hour, needs to learn from his teammate, Jalen Hurts. Like, how much stuff is said about Hurts? And Hurts just like, yeah, whatever, I'm here to work. And Miles is like, I'm a running back. I should be it's like, dude, your quarterback doesn't care. Why should you care?
Respect is earned. It's not given, my friend. It's not given. You're not going to get handed respect because you're whining like a little baby to the media, right? If it was so stupid and idiotic of the media to write and talk about that, you shouldn't even care. Like, that's something you open up the paper, if they still do that, or they're on their phone reading an article. You turn to your teammates and your buddies and you say, look at this. Oh, they think I'm second team now because of the 10 minutes in practice. I went to the other side and helped with the offense. Like, that's it, right? Like, if it's not a big deal, don't make it a big deal. You sound like an insecure baby.
Maybe because he is.
I think he is. I'm tired of him. He's gone. I'm actually looking forward for him to move on. Fans have been clinging on to this hope and dream that Miles Sanders is actually something.
They're clinging on to the rookie year where he had, 800 rushing yards and 500 receiving yards, and he was top 10 in the NFL in yards from scrimmage. And ever since then, the guy can't stay healthy, and he drops footballs. It's like, dude, you dug your own grave here.
And even when he's healthy, he frustrates me. He runs way too much sideline to sideline. I question how well he really knows that position. He's talented, he tries to be too much Barry Sanders. It's like, dude, you have to take a little bit of Jordan Howard and what he did well and just fall forward for 3 yards sometimes. That's what you're there to do.
Yeah, it's so funny, though, because also he literally is the biggest running back. He's taller and heavier than both Boston Scott and Kenny Gainwell. But yet Boston Scott is like, ooh, there's a hole between the guard and the tackle that's like 3 centimeters wide. I'm going to bust my head through that. Like, the dude is like way smaller than you, but you're afraid to like hit the tackle off tackle. It's ridiculous.
Dude, you bring up Gainwell. I'm excited for Gainwell this season. I think he's going to have a big impact.
So I'm going to give you a quote that I heard just to hype you up to lose your mind over there, okay?
Oh, yeah.
So I heard that an Eagles coach told one of the Eagles writers, anonymously, obviously, that Shane Steichen views Kenny Gainwell because he was in with the Chargers the way that they used Austin Eckler. That's what they look at him as.
I agree, right? As far as a player comparison, right? Because you saw those vibes last season very briefly, and that goes back. I'm not trying to have this full conversation with you again, although I will. It goes back to the hit factor point that we talked about last week of typically as a fan, you know it when you see it. Like last year, you saw it from Gainwell. Look at his numbers. There are no numbers from last season, but you could see it in him already. Moments. He had it.
By the way, for anybody who cares, Jalen Hurts apparently juked Kazir White out of his shoes for a 20-yard run today at practice. So maybe really what Miles Sanders is mad about is that Jalen Hurts is a better runner than he is.
He's just mad at the world.
Well, maybe he needs to take that anger and channel it to be a little more productive. How about that?
That'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. Speaking of Philadelphia, so I always love these things when they come out. So NFL team evaluations. Did you see this list?
No.
All right. So basically, every year, these financial people like Forbes Sports and Sportico and all them, they come out with like, how valuable is a franchise kind of list, right? And I find these things fun because it really explains to me what I like to explain to people. It's like, look, no matter what you think, sports is $1 billion industry. I know you got sick of me hearing me say that almost every day when the COVID lockdowns happened. Remember that? I was people like, I'm like, sports are coming back. It's $1 billion industry. Like people were like, remember you and I were on the air in April. Sports are never coming back. And I'm like, dude, they're coming back. So
what's the list?
All right. So obviously the Cowboys are the most valuable franchise at $7.6 billion. The Rams are now second at 5.9 thanks to winning the Super Bowl. Robert Kraft is not doing too bad. He's third at 5.8. And then we get to the next NFC East team. The Giants are fourth at 5.7. 49ers are fifth at 5.1. Your thoughts, Ryan?
Sounds about right. Who's fifth? The 49ers?
49ers.
It's a little surprising.
Well, their evaluation, according to this, is in part because they own their stadium.
Okay. All right. That's a key factor. It's an interesting factor. I just learned something there. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, if you own your building and it's a newer-ish building, you have more value in these evaluation numbers.
Makes sense. Yeah, it's like having a new house, owning a new house. I get it. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, I mean, the first four teams, if you told me to guess, I probably would have guessed at least 3 or 4.
I mean, I'm assuming that everyone would have guessed the Cowboys and the Giants were in the top 5 just because of who they are and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. And probably would have guessed the Patriots. I probably would have guessed the Steelers. So, yeah, it all checks out to me.
Steelers are currently 13th at $4.2 billion.
Okay.
Steelers are behind the Seahawks, the Texans, the Broncos, who remember they got new ownership right now. And in 9th place, your Philadelphia Eagles at $4.7 billion.
I like it. I was leaning towards them certainly being in the top 10. So there it is, coming in at number 9.
I don't know what's more surprising, though. The Commanders and the Jets are both in the top 10, or the fact that the Eagles are right now worth more than the Steelers. I'm a little conflicted here.
Well, the Jets, once again, New York market.
True.
Beautiful stadium. Washington, the owner's a complete fraud, but he's worth a crap ton of money, right? That's certainly a factor.
Would you like to guess the least valuable NFL franchise?
Yeah, I would. I mean, not Detroit, although they're probably close, but
They're close.
Yeah. Not the Titans.
Titans are 23rd on the list.
Missing a team. I'll go Jacksonville.
Jacksonville is 30th out of 32.
Okay. I was close.
Yeah, you had the right idea. Listen,
Yeah.
you just named 30 and 31. The Jags are 30. The Lions are 31. So you're right there. Your least valuable franchise, though, at a miserable $2.8 billion, are the Cincinnati Bengals.
I was going to say Cincinnati. It came in my mind, but I was like, well, last season maybe shifted that a little bit.
Apparently, the Jags are $100 million worth more than the Bengals. Just $100 million.
Now, I'm guessing that's because of the owner, right?
The owner, the city, the stadium, the whole.
But the owner, just between those two teams, I would imagine, tips the scales.
Well, the Jags owner definitely is worth more than the Lions and the Bengals. I would argue probably the Bengals have the worst stadium of those three, for sure. The problem with the Lions is that they have an owner, but it's an owner that nobody knows who really she is. So
Yeah. But they're involved in a lot of stuff in Detroit, right? That sounds super smart to me.
Well, I mean, the Lions owner does a lot of charity work. So maybe the theory is that the franchise is worth less because they spend so much on charity. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We're grasping now.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't really give this list with tons of notes on it. It was just more like this is why this team is worth this in a nutshell kind of thing on this list. But it's always interesting to see some of these numbers and realize that, two things. One, now we understand why some of us don't have money because other people have all the money. And two, because, hey, why the Packers can treat their TV money like it's, play money. The Packers apparently made over $300 million off of NFL TV contracts this past year. It's well, now I understand why these teams have so much money because look at this.
The Packers made $300 million. Where does that rank in comparison to others?
Well, the Packers are the only team that has to publicly announce their financial situation because they're publicly owned by people. So
we don't have access to any of those numbers.
I'm sure if somebody wanted to, break into somebody's accounts or something and get the information, but we can take the Packers number to kind of project it across the rest of the league and assume that, 300 million times 32 is the net value of these TV contracts.
Well, maybe. I don't know if that's extremely high, like if they're ranked number 1 or middle of the pack or,
The 300 million is what they get from every team gets around that amount of money.
Oh, okay.
From the TV contract. So if I go 32 times 300, we're talking about that the NFL nets about $9.6 billion in TV money. Not gross, net.
Billion with a B.
Yes.
Sickening.
And yet in Philadelphia, we're talking about practice.
It's all we can talk about.
He's Ryan Rothstein. He's the host of the Philadelphia City Cast. On the other side, we're going to get a little more serious because you and I are very much on the same page with this Deshaun Watson thing. But apparently half the world has zero clue about any of the details of this, because I was listening to national ESPN radio and they made the poor decision to open up the phone lines today. And can I just say that some people are so misinformed, I don't want them near me for anything.
We'll discuss.
On the other side, Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill on the Sports Bash here on 97.3 ESPN.
Your official station for Summer at the Shore.
That one drilled left field. That one back. That one going. Gone! JT Rio Muto hooked one just over the left field wall.
97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime.
Every vehicle, one dime down.
At the all-new Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City. SpringfieldMitsu.com.
We get it. You're not going to work just anywhere. You're smart, you're ambitious, and you want to help others. You want a place where you can thrive, feel fulfilled, and have an opportunity for growth, all while making an incredible living. Right now is the perfect time to join the team at Town Square Media as a marketing consultant. Join one of the fastest growing digital companies in America, where you get to help build client solutions with real local influencers and sell brands like TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. If this sounds exciting to you, let's have a conversation. Our comp package is amazing with unlimited earning potential, including base salary, mobile phone, auto expense, 401k match, trip incentives, and more. If you're competitive, driven, and have the ability to communicate great ideas, we'd love to hear from you. With digital advertising expected to double over the next 3 years, the timing could not be better. Reach out to Mike Rubel, Market President, at 609-910-5249 or visit careers.townsquaremedia.com. Town Square Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Venture X from Capital One is the travel card for people always asking,
where next?
You earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights booked through Capital One Travel, and 2x miles on everything else you buy with Venture X. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Hey, I'm Jackie, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is the chicken. It is golden brown, so juicy, so delicious. It's the perfect savory start to my day.
Hey, I'm Matt, and the little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is the freshly baked, flaky, buttery biscuit. When I take a bite, it's kind of like, crispy, soft, crispy. Crispy outside, soft interior, crispy chicken. There's really nothing like it.
Start your day with the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit, available on the Chick-fil-A app. Real Chick-fil-A guests paid for their testimonials.
Oh, are you seeing these readings? This is incredible.
Short-staffed, Marco's climate research facility is in the eye of the storm. The atmospheric pressure to find more weather specialists is mounting.
Man, this is going to be a big job. We're going to need a bigger team.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Have you ever noticed that when the afternoon light hits your floors, you can see everything, including dust?
So much dust.
And that floor dust gets kicked up into the air, compromising the quality of air you and your family breathe. Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper is the fast and easy way to clean your floors with ultra-thick pads that trap and lock dust before it gets in the air. Just a couple minutes a day,
And dust is gone.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper. Proud partner of the American Lung Association.
This summer, escape to the Jersey Cape, a place that's real and really charming. Come relax, really relax on our beaches, or maybe just sit on a porch and daydream. Explore our trails, discover our natural areas, or go camping, walk the boardwalk, visit a museum or a lighthouse, experience our eclectic dining, or try your hand at fishing and crabbing. Sample our homegrown fruits and vegetables, local wines, brews, and spirits, or participate in our outdoor activities, special events, and live entertainment found beyond our world-famous beaches. Visit the Free County Park and Zoo for a trip on the wild side. Enjoy authentic experiences where the arts easily connect to nature. The food comes directly from the sea or soil, and the outdoors go from birding to playing in the surf. Stay at a modern motel or a quaint bed and breakfast inn. Escape the everyday and pursue your passions at the Jersey Cape. It's authentically charming and sincerely yours. Escape to thejerseycape.com. Sponsored by Cape May County Tourism.
Now, back to more Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's sports leader.
3:30 here on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig hanging out with you, filling in for Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN FM. Being joined by Ryan Rothstein. He's the host of the Philadelphia CityCast. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts. Ryan, did you drop a new one today, or is that still processing?
I am literally posting today's episode on social media as we do this. So yes, it's recorded and finished.
Nice. What's on the topics today on the pod?
Today I was joined by a guest, Josh, Aaron Schatz from Football Outsiders.
I remember that name.
Yeah, he is viewed by many as the godfather of the modern analytics.
Correct.
In the NFL. He created DVOA and all those other air quote weird analytics that we go by now. So he's very knowledgeable and insightful. And he joined me to talk Eagles and NFL season outlook.
Nice. Very cool. So
yeah.
Philadelphia CityCast is where Ryan's pod is. Like, subscribe, download it, give it the 5-star, the whole 9 yards. All right. So, first of all, the Deshaun Watson thing, for those who are, shall I call it, not fully informed on the topic. So, today, Judge Sue Robinson came out with her decision, and it was released that she is saying that Deshaun Watson should be suspended for 6 games, is what her statement was. And for those who don't understand why Deshaun Watson is being suspended, he's being suspended for violations of the NFL's Code of Conduct policy, all right, which is a vague policy that really nobody has ever fully fleshed out what it means. But under that umbrella, she believes, according to the information she gathered, that Deshaun Watson committed something egregious that wasn't violent. So that's why he gets 6 games. Now, this is the same NFL that didn't use Sue Robinson for Calvin Ridley and overtly decided to suspend him a year for gambling. The same NFL over a decade ago that suspended Dante Stallworth a year for drinking and driving and killing somebody. So it's hard to judge the NFL on precedent when they literally said, for this situation, Calvin Ridley, we're not using Judge Sue Robinson. But for this situation, we're using an independent judge to review and suspend. So it's hard to take the NFL's decision seriously when reports coming out the NFL wanted this to be a year suspension. But now all of a sudden they have 3 days to consider if they want to appeal it or not.
I got a lot to say about this, Josh.
I just set the stage for you, so you can go ahead.
Yeah. So from what I've read up on, Judge Sue Robinson is now overseeing all matters of personal conduct. You know, the air quotes personal conduct policy.
Yep.
It's basically Roger Goodell saying, here you go. This is my shield. Blame her. Right. The NFLPA agreed to this with the NFL front office. This is the way it goes now. It's a air quote third party. So Goodell can say, wipes his hands, steps back and says, this ain't my job anymore. Although it quite literally is your job, bro. Okay. Like they have all of these policies in place and they try and have everything in writing and, A plus B has to equal C, et cetera, et cetera. Dude, it's common sense, right? Like we all know the perception and most likely the reality around the Deshaun Watson story. Story is a nice way to put it. It can't be 6 games. I mean, it cannot be 6 games. And I only interpret it one way. I tweeted this out. The NFL says they would prefer sexual assault and misconduct on 25 different women over betting $500 on teams that you're not even on or involved with week to week. It's an absolute and utter disgrace.
And that's really where the issue is. Look, I know there's a lot of people who are getting bent over Deshaun Watson. He was never convicted in court and all this stuff. But the reality is that the NFL literally has an agreement with the PA, the Players Association, that you can literally be suspended and never go to jail for something. Like, look at Ray Rice. Ray Rice never went to jail for literally KOing his wife in an elevator.
Yep.
But yet he never played in football ever again. He was literally blackballed by the league. Never went to jail. So, the precedent is already there that whether you think that Deshaun Watson is being accused wrongfully or whatever your thought is, the league can do whatever it wants here.
It's why does it not? I was going to say, why does it feel like, but it's not. Why does it feel like? It's the reality that whenever it becomes a legal issue, the NFL fumbles, right? Like, pun intended. The NFL drops the ball because then all of a sudden it's, whoa. Well, now it's a legal issue. Now we're going to let the court systems tell us how to proceed and handle this. And it's like, no, dude, that's not how you have to handle this. You just don't want to have any PR. You just want to point your finger, right? Instead of taking an issue about one of your employees head on, right? It's whenever it's serious enough, and this is sad that I'm even saying it, whenever it's serious enough that it becomes a legal issue, it's almost like Roger Goodell and the entire NFL takes a seat when they should be standing.
What else bothers you about this? Because there's a lot of things that bother me, but I don't want to cut you off from many of the points, because I thought the tweet you made today that I loved, which was, and I'll read it for those who didn't see it, over at Wise Rye on Twitter. Your comment was basically, the NFL would rather a player allegedly, in parentheses, sexually assault 25 different women over placing a $500 bet on other games while injured. Should we interpret the 6-game suspension of Watson any other way? It's not that complicated, yet the NFL makes it very complicated. Go ahead.
It's just another example. And this is 9 months now, right? Like at the press conference, they said, the Browns, that is, being they, 4 or 5 months, this is going to go on. This is dragging on, and fine, right? I have no issue with that either way. But the NFL had a lot of opportunities to right this ship. So Goodell, we already talked about him stepping back to Judge Robinson. That's part one. He's tired of the scrutiny that he's faced with this in other examples of handling players with misconduct. Why didn't the league put him on him being Watson on the commissioner's exempt list? How was he even able to get moved to the Cleveland Browns? How was he even able to sign that contract before we even had all of our answers, right? And the NFL, if you want to get answers, the NFL can get any answer they want in the world. All right. And there was examples of this Watson case where they didn't reach out to one of the defendants, who the accusers towards Watson. Like that, there's a lot of different examples here where the NFL could have done something, and instead they went out of their way to do nothing. This whole thing is an embarrassment. It's not just a sore eye or a black eye on the Cleveland Browns. A lot of people are shaming and hating and criticizing the Browns. Fine, I get it. It's on the NFL, right? Like if the organization's able to go get a star player, they already signed their deals with the devil. But the NFL, that's on them to protect their brand and their shield. And they went out of their way to do the opposite.
It also feels like with the NFL that, just to bring back something you said, it's like they're trying to treat him not playing last year, where he was like pseudo suspended, but not really suspended. It's almost like they're trying to treat last year as like time served. It's almost like, the NFL is almost treating last year as like, well, he didn't play last year.
Yeah, it's almost like they had an under the table agreement of you're on the exempt list, but we're not reporting it that way. Like that was part of your punishment last year when obviously that should not be any part of his punishment.
I just feel like, the part that bothers me is that there's a lot of people who are talking about this, Ryan, who don't know all the facts. And, I understand that's the world we live in now. Half everybody's misinformed and uneducated and yada, yada, yada. But at some point, the NFL doesn't help their cause because you know what they do? They don't actually come out with any clear anything. As you mentioned, the NFL complicates an uncomplicated situation by being like, well, that was her decision.
Hey, exactly. It's they detach themselves from the story. And you mentioned people are uninformed, yada, yada. The story is a little complicated in defense of the overall public, but still, I hear your point, Josh. But the NFL could get ahead of that stuff. Instead, with cases like this, they remove themselves from the situation. So it's like, well, he's not a part of us right now, right? And then as soon as all the smoke blows over, then you can come back, right? Come on back once this is over with. But we don't want to be in the war with you at all, even protecting our brand. We're just going to detach ourselves from the whole situation. And that's not how you should operate any business, especially this business, the NFL business.
But to what we said earlier, Ryan, they get away with it because they're a $1 billion business.
They can do whatever they want. And that's the most disgusting part of it all, honestly.
I think the other part of it that I want to touch on really quick is, the other person that I don't think is getting enough blame is the Browns. Because remember, the Browns made this contract so he makes the least amount of money this season. So he's basically going to lose $330,000 of his $230 million contract because he makes $1 million base salary this year and 46 next year. So to me, you can be mad at the NFL or Sue Robinson all you want, but you know who's just as culpable in all this? It's the Browns.
I agree and I disagree, though. Right? Like, if you're the Browns, what do you want them to do? Give them the money like it's a normal situation and then they lose? Like, I hear you, but to me, it's more on the NFL. Okay. Right? Like what?
So what you're saying is the NFL is, the top of the food chain. They should dictate down.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't agree with that?
I mean, I think they can dictate, but these are still individual owners of individual teams that can also do what they want to do. Like, for example, somebody could have at some point called Ray Rice in for a workout, but no one ever did. Meanwhile, the Cowboys brought Greg Hardy back after, I mean, those pictures of what he did were pretty disturbing, honestly. I mean, it was to the point where literally I had UFC fighters telling me on and off the record, they wanted to fight Greg Hardy because they wanted to kill him in the octagon. Like, that's the world we live in. The NFL is willing to give Greg Hardy a second chance, not give Ray Rice a second chance. But, the Browns decided to give Deshaun Watson this contract.
Because back to the business aspect of it, and that's the bottom line answer for this whole conversation. The Watson is an asset to their company that can be a game changer, that can be a massive bottom line changer. This is a young star. Forget everything outside of it. And I know that's the reason why we're talking about it. But as far as the business of the Cleveland Browns, they saw an opportunity to drastically shift their business into another gear, into an elite level, potentially, that they've never had that potential for, in the past few decades. So they signed their deal with the devil. It's a PR and perception nightmare on them. But when it's all said and done, if I'm them, I'm not saying I would have done it, but just to put myself in their shoes for a second, if I'm them, well, it's going to work out, hopefully, in the next 2 or 3 years. That's the disgusting part of it all. Another part of it.
Well, the good news is also win some money because I already have the Panthers beating the Browns week 1. So
there you go. I'm going to have to jump on that train with you, like I said before.
I don't know if the odds are so good anymore. I got them when they were so plus. They might be like even odds down for all I know, but
yeah, I haven't seen. I have to look into that. I didn't check what the updated odds are for that week 1 matchup.
Well, maybe tomorrow's edition of the Philadelphia City Cast, wherever you get your podcast, Ryan will have that information.
Don't promise the people something that I can't deliver, Josh.
By the way, for those who might care, Deshaun Watson's first game back, week 7, projected in the NFL. Browns at Ravens.
And another nugget to this whole story.
Yes.
Roger Goodell and the NFL, they have the ability to appeal this decision and change it to whatever they want. So there's a lot of people out there that are implying that's going to happen. That ain't happening. The whole reason that this Judge Robinson was brought in to handle this stuff is for this reason. Goodell's not going to now step in and say, no, I brought you in to avoid all the PR backlash. I'm going to change it to a year. It's going to remain whatever she decided, which was 6 games.
And by the way, the NFLPA already came out and said they're standing behind whatever her decision is. So the NFL has even more onus to not try to change it because they don't want the Players Association getting litigious with them and taking them to court.
Exactly. Obviously, the Players Association's happy with this decision. They're not going to fight it.
Ryan Rothstein, Philadelphia City Cast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe, download, give it the 5-star review. Ryan will be back on Wednesday when, from what I am told, Mike Gill will be back.
Allegedly. We shall see. Either way, can't wait. It's been fun, my friend. Thanks.
Take care, Ryan. Ryan Rothstein for the Philadelphia City Cast at WiseRye on Twitter. I'll check out the text board on the other side, 609-403-0973. You also can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. I'm Josh Hennig hanging out with you on a Monday, the first day of August. Football at 4 with Geoff Mosher from the Inside the Birds podcast coming up in about 13 minutes.
There's never an off season for the NFL. It's football at 4 every day at 4 p.m. on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime.
Every vehicle, one dime down.
At the all-new Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City. SpringfieldMitsu.com.
DQ presents
how to experience the new DQ Reese's Take 5 Blizzard with your 5 senses. First, open your eyes and see it all. Reese's peanut butter cups, caramel, peanuts, pretzels. It's beautiful. Then feel it. Oh, it's cold. Next, listen to it. Now, smell it with your nose. Oh, sweet top notes. And finally, taste it. Experience the new Reese's Take 5 Blizzard today. DQ, happy tastes good. Get it delivered at DQ.com. Delivery subject to availability, additional fees, and minimum order requirements.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you have to drive 300 miles to your cousin's wedding. Okay, so it's his fourth. But you know what they say, fourth time's the charm. Well, here's the problem. Your tires are as bald as I am. But lucky for you, eBay Motors has tires for just about every make and model. Plus wheels, lug nuts, jack stands, and more. 122 million parts. Do they have tissues? Oh, good, because I'm definitely a crier. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
The tradition continues for the 103rd season at Douglas Fudge. Take advantage of great Douglas specials. Buy 2 pounds of famous Douglas Fudge, get 1 free. Or buy 2 pounds of Douglas Original Taffy, get 1 free. Douglas Candies on the boardwalk at Wildwood Avenue and now in Stone Harbor on Facebook, Twitter, and online at douglascandies.com.
Our own recipe, and we're sure proud of it. We make the candy we sell, so it's easy to tell the great taste of Douglas Fudge.
That's the sound of a crack in the ceiling found at a home inspection. But with a Realtor by your side, a newfound leak might only cause minor worries. With their expertise, a Realtor can suggest a credit at closing and even connect you to a contractor to help you shore up that leak and alleviate your worries. When it comes to cracks in your plans, the expertise of a Realtor can make all the difference. The difference between an agent and a Realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Progressive presents Don't Do It Yourself.
Okay, read me the manual.
Using a Phillips screwdriver, drain die Haube, bis sie fit sitzt.
What was that?
Drain die Haube, bis sie fit sitzt.
This sounds like another language to me.
Okay, maybe we should bundle our home and auto with Progressive. We could save big, then pay someone to do it for us.
Maybe. What's next?
Next, pony ostium pronus and terra.
Was that one Latin?
Save when bundling home and auto with Progressive and use the money to, not do it yourself. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Trust Jenkins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Homeowners, no need to call the drain guy, the heater guy, or the plumbing guy. Call Jenkins. One call does it all. Jenkins technicians are trained to do it all. You'll only have to call one number, 609-641-6262. Jenkins & Sons has been on the job since 1949. Renovating your kitchen or bath, call Jenkins for new heating and air installation, service and maintenance, ductless air conditioning systems, water heaters, boilers, oil service, plumbing, and drain cleaning services. Calling now will help save you even more money. Learn how to earn a rebate through the HVAC Energy Efficiency Program brought to you by South Jersey Gas. Information can be found at southjerseygas.com. One call does it all. Call 609-641-6262 or jenkinsandsons.com.
Jenkins Plumbing and Heating. We're always here for you.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
Wrapping up the 3 o'clock hour, Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill, the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. I do want to get to at least one message before we hit the break. Victor in Linwood is an example of somebody who feels very passionately about this. And I think Victor in Linwood, I think that this is an opportunity to bring some clarity on this topic because, he texted in to 609-403-0973. Victor says there was no assault. And he says no assault in capital letters. Now, here's the problem, Victor. So you're looking at it from a very literal perspective. And I'm sure that there's some show that you listen to that maybe gave you some, fuel to your fire. But here's the reality. Number one, it doesn't matter if there was assault or not. The NFL has deemed that Deshaun Watson has violated their code of conduct. There are a lot of people who have worked in the NFL or who cover the NFL who have explained that one of the reasons why this decision was going to be made with him not playing at all last year and being suspended a number of games this year, whether he was found guilty in a criminal court or not, So it doesn't matter that Deshaun Watson was never charged or never went to jail for these accusations. It doesn't matter. The league deems that he violated their code of conduct based on the testimony that they heard, based on the 24 civil suits against him, and them settling 20 of the 24. Because when you settle a case, you're not saying that you're innocent, especially in civil court. What you're saying is, I'm paying you to go away. I am paying you to leave me alone. So we don't know for sure, and we may never know how much of these accusations are real or not. So it doesn't matter, Victor and Linwood, that Deshaun Watson wasn't criminally charged. What matters is the NFL believes that the accusations against him are, and this is their words, quote, egregious enough, unquote, to warrant a suspension. Listen, Victor from Linwood, if you at your job, your boss found out that you were being accused of multiple women of sexual assault, they might fire you, whether you were found guilty or not. There are many jobs out there where people lose their jobs for accusations that are never proven at all. And if Deshaun Watson feels that he is being so wronged or whatever, maybe he should sue the NFL for false accusations, for defamation of name. There's tons of legal ways to deal with this. The fact that Deshaun Watson settled these cases, a lot of them, and did not fight them to the bitter end, makes you wonder about the validity of these accusations. Just because someone doesn't go to jail doesn't make them less of a person of a bad reputation. Remember, 1 in 4 rapes never get reported. All right, football at 4. Geoff Mosher coming up next. Here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff. Learn more, live better.
We all know it's fun to joke and laugh with our friends and loved ones, but did you realize a good chuckle is actually good for your heart health? An article by the Cleveland Clinic states that laughing can actually increase blood flow by up to 20% and is similar to aerobic exercise in terms of aiding heart health. Laughter also reduces stress hormones such as cortisol and epinephrine, which can cause blood vessels to constrict. This can also lead to a boost in the antibody count in our blood, improving our immune system. Now more than ever, we could all really use a good laugh. So the next time you're feeling a little stressed, check out an online comedy show, a funny movie or TV show, or something that just makes you chuckle on social media. Catch up with an old friend or family member that always makes you laugh. It just might be good for your heart. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff, empowering you to live a healthier life.
I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Did you take those big down payments?
You're darn right I did.
Your Honor, he is breaking the laws of Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City. They made it clear. It's a crime to pay more than a dime. Every new Mitsubishi, 1 dime down.
Take them away. And at Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City, ask for credit amnesty.
If you bring home $350 a week, you could get up to $25,000 in credit. So, what's the beat on inventory?
Other dealers are struggling, but not Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City. 40 new Outlanders in stock now. An entire fleet of new and pre-owned. New Mitsubishis from just 17 grand.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime.
Every vehicle, 1 dime down.
At the all-new Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City.
In Pleasantville, they service all makes and models.
Springfield MitsubishiAC.com. Springfield MitsubishiAC.com.
New 22 Mirage, 16 Ford, 9 down, $249 a month for 72 months at 3% APR, plus tax tag title to qualified buyers.
Staples has everything for school at great prices. So this year you won't go back to school. You'll be ready to move forward and master 5th grade math.
I can't do this. It's impossible.
Not you, Dad, your daughter. Staples will help her move forward.
Right.
Right now, Staples 1-subject notebooks are just 35 cents each. Plus, select backpacks are 50% off. Everything on your list at amazing prices. Staples, we're not going back. We're going forward to school. In-store only backpack offer ends 8/6. Notebook offer ends 8/27. Limit 30.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
The biannual blowout is just a week away, and we've got a lot of work to do.
Keenan's Rug Emporium is rolling out a Labor Day bonanza. He needs 10 new sales associates as the crowds loom large.
Someone run a stock check on all the Moroccan 8x10s?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Almost 3 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage, the world's only nose cleaner that helps flush out airborne germs with powered suction. But what do doctors have to say about Navage? Here's Dr. Tonya Farmer, a board-certified ear, nose, and throat specialist.
Most airborne allergens and viruses enter through your nose. When that happens, it can cause congestion and irritation, and that just makes you feel miserable. You can get a cold, you can get flu, sinus infections, or even worse. Flushing your nose with a saline solution is the most effective way to flush all of those dangerous threats out of your nose. So now when patients come in my office, I tell them I highly recommend that you use Navage on a daily basis for overall good health and wellness.
And Navage is all natural and drug-free at Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Mom, Dad, I humbly suggest you save some money and shop Amazon for back to school. It's for my growth, meaning my body's growing at an alarming rate. And clothes you buy me this year will be very small very soon. Plus, the clothes I love today will be out of style tomorrow. But at least your wallet doesn't have to be my fashion victim if you shop low prices for school at Amazon. Hopefully this is helpful. Amazon. Spend less, smile more.
A town square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is 97.3 ESPN, home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
He is hit. He stumbles. He's down.
WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City. 97.3 ESPN presents The Sports Bash with Mike Gill. It's time for Football at 4 with Geoff Mosher.
I think our track record in the last 20 years, how many NFC East titles, playoff appearances, and appearances in the NFC Championship game, those are some of the metrics I look at, and I'll compare our record with almost anybody.
Powered by the Inside the Birds podcast. Now, live from inside the Matt Black Kia Studios. This is Football at 4.
Latest edition of the Football at 4 Inside the Birds podcast dropped this morning. Latest insights from Geoff Mosher, Adam Kaplan. Geoff Mosher was over at Eagles practice today. Adam Kaplan on his West Coast swing of training camp. So the Football at 4 guys, very, very busy this time of year. And there's a lot to get to as the Eagles, yes, it's only practice, but there are still things to talk about when it comes to practice. Of course, all the details over at InsideTheBirds.com with the latest information from this man, Geoff Mosher, joining us here for a Monday edition of Football at 4. Geoff, how you doing today?
Good, Josh. How are you?
Doing good. So I saw that you were able to make your way over to the Eagles practice facility. I asked Adam this question last week, so I want to ask you the same question. Obviously, this is the first time we've had quote-unquote normal training camp in a couple of years. So what were your thoughts on being there?
It was good. It's good to be back. When you say normal in a couple of years, I felt like last year's training camp was still normal. I mean, obviously, from a vaccination standpoint, the press had to be vaccinated to go in, but I think pretty much everybody was. And maybe there wasn't as many people like season ticket holders in the tents. I can't remember last year, but it was good. It was good to be back. It was normal. A lot of people there, enthusiastic. And the one thing I like about Nick Sirianni's training camp is that even though it's less intense and not as long, there's not a lot of standing around at times. So, for example, and I think this is pretty new, I don't even think they did this last year, but at the end of practice, they do like this developmental 7-on-7s where the only two quarterbacks to do it were Carson Strong and Reed Sinnett. So, because normally those guys don't get the same number of reps in practice that you would like them to get. So they save a little time to have those guys do it. And then Jalen Hurts and Gardner Minshew were doing something on a separate field while defensive players who were not involved in 7-on-7s were on the other field. So everybody was getting some work in, and there's just not a whole lot of standing around, which is always good. You know, that was something Chip Kelly hated about practice in general, and that's why he loved the no huddle. Everything moves fast, and you race from one thing to another. Obviously this is not a Chip Kelly type of operation going on, but there are some elements about maximizing your time and being efficient with your time that you can see that Nick Sirianni puts into his practices.
Now, I know that Sirianni talked to the media today about how the offense is doing, how the passing game is doing. And, a lot of people out there, they're hanging on to every tweet, every video, every clip, everything with some of this stuff. And, if you go by Twitter, Jalen Hurts is the worst quarterback in the world, and Tua Tagovailoa has never thrown an incompletion at practice.
Yeah, that Adam and I spent a little time on the podcast today, and I feel like we do it every year, but maybe spent a little more time on the podcast that dropped this morning, really explaining what it is you can learn from training camp as a media spectator or a fan spectator versus what you think you might be learning. And, if the offense doesn't have a good day or if it has two rough days, especially early on, it doesn't mean that the offense is going to stink or you have to be really alarmed by the offense going into the year, because a lot of things that they do are just meant to see what guys can and can't do and what's good, what works, what doesn't work. That's what training camp is all about. And every year, we say this all the time, the defense starts ahead of the offense because offense works off of timing and rhythm, and defense doesn't have to work off the same type of timing and rhythm. They just fly up the field. And I also think that when you're not in pads, and there will be in pads tomorrow, when you're not in pads, the defensive linemen, they don't care. They go flying right at the quarterback, and the offensive linemen are trying to block them, but they're not allowed to really fully engage the way you would if it was a full contact game or practice. So the defense is always going to be ahead a little bit of the offense for the most part. But you would like to see, from my impression I came away with is that Jalen Hurts did not throw an interception today. That was a good thing, and he was generally crisp and accurate. But there's really not been much of a downfield passing attack for any of the practices, and there was not much of one today. And you would like to think that will start to manifest at some point soon with the weapons that they do have. If you were unaware of who the Eagles are, like their players, you would not realize that Devontae Smith is one of their best players, because I'm not even sure I know he was out there taking reps, but I don't know if I ever saw the ball in his hands the entire day.
You mentioned the receivers. I want to ask you about that because aside from Quez Watkins saying that he's the fastest man in the NFL, which we'll leave for another random discussion on another day, the Eagles do have some decisions to make when it comes to these receivers, because they signed Pascal in the offseason. Rager obviously is attempting to compete for a job here. Watkins, what is his role going to be? So, we know who the two guys are, but, what are your thoughts on where we are right now with the other receivers whose names are not Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown?
Yeah, and so without that whole downfield passing attack that I was talking about, it's difficult to really make any conclusions at the moment. Plus, Zach Pascal has not been on. I mean, he's been out there, but he's kind of coming back from a pretty nasty case of food poisoning, I guess, that landed him in the hospital recently. So he's out there, but he's just like hanging out. So really, I mean, Quez is getting a lot of run. Deion Kane and Jalen Rager are getting some good runs there on the second team, and both of them made nice catches today. But as far as really, and again, when they do 11-on-11, 7-on-7s, you get 6 or 7 plays at a time. They'll work on the running game today. They did that a little bit 2 or 3 times. So at the end of the day, I think Jalen Hurts might have thrown 8 passes today. that between 7-on-7s and 11-on-11s. And when 7-on-7s are going on, they also do on the other field, you'll have offensive line, defensive line, one-on-ones. So I tried to sort of crane my neck back and forth to take a look at both. So to answer your question, I know speaking to Quez after the practice, he felt pretty good about his development, specifically as an interior slot receiver, route running, blocking, everything that comes with it. And he is getting some time out there.
By the way, that would be Deion Kane from Clemson.
Yes.
You're mentioning. I mean,
former Indianapolis Colt Deion Kane. Yes.
That's a flash from the past for someone like me. I'm just thinking about Deion Kane. I mean, that guy was catching passes from freshman Deshaun Watson, for goodness sake.
Yeah. Yeah. And, when he was with the Colts, they liked him a lot. He was a late round pick that they thought was going to become a pretty good player for them. And he wound up having, I think, a knee injury that sort of derailed the career. So he is somebody to watch. I mean, I don't know if there's room, but, if you can slide him through and put him on the practice squad, he's a guy to keep your eye on.
You mentioned about Pascal coming back from the food poisoning. Obviously, Sirianni confirmed some injury issues. Grant Calcaterra and Milton Williams. What's the latest?
Yeah, it sounds like we reported it on Inside the Birds this morning that Calcaterra had a hamstring injury, and it was going to be a couple weeks for him. So that's going to be it's strange because that puts them down 3 tight ends between Calcaterra and then, of course, Richard Rodgers and Tyree Jackson started camp on PUP. And I didn't get the sense that they're racing to bring in another tight end. They might do it who's a camp body, but it doesn't, they've got Dallas Goedert, they got Jack Stoll. They have a couple of other, they have a guy, Jaden, somebody who's, I forget his last name is escaping me at the moment. They have Noah Togiai, who caught a couple of balls today, who is, they liked a couple of years ago and then got claimed by the off waivers. And so, you are working on a lot of 11 personnel stuff. So if you got 5 tight ends, I suppose you're okay, but you lose one more and then you're like, what if I want to work on some 12 personnel? I can't even do 2 or 3 teams of that. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did bring in another camp body tight end.
I mean, isn't JJ Arcega-Whiteside being converted to a tight end?
That was the 5th. That was the one that I couldn't fit. So it's Noah, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, and then Jaden. I want to say Graham, but I don't think that's correct.
Jaden Graham. That is correct.
Oh, it is Graham. Okay, yeah, those are the 3 behind Dallas Goedert and Jack Stoll right now.
Yeah, your memory did not fail you. I was trying to remember his. Well, I mean, nobody's perfect, unless you're Tua Tagovailoa. So, sorry, I just can't get over.
What is it with you and Tua? Are you not happy? Are you a little disappointed that he's getting good press?
I saw someone mention this morning on Good Morning Football, and I went to look it up and realized they were right. Like, if you go through like all of like the Dolphins beat writers, like they're reporting from camp, like Tua's done nothing wrong in camp. Like he's like the perfect quarterback. But you go through like Eagles beat reporter Twitter, it's like, oh, Jalen Hurts threw the ball past the guy's head, incomplete.
It's funny. I don't think the Eagle beat writer tweets are as maybe negative as the reactions to the tweet. If
the reactions to the tweets are worse than the actual tweet.
Right. So the tweet might be a very fair and accurate tweet that Jalen Hurts, and look, Nick Sirianni, if you listen to his press conference, went through and detailed all 3 interceptions that Jalen Hurts had thrown in the past 2 practices. That's not beat people making it up. It's simply, a tweet he threw across his body. That was the one that really stuck out to Nick as, I mean, they're all not ideal, right? But the one where you say that can't happen. We can't do that more often is when you're running to your left and you try to throw the ball in the middle of the field across your body and make a pass that a lot of quarterbacks shouldn't make. It's the no, don't do it. And that, but if you have a rocket arm, it's no. Yes, oh, nice job. But Jalen's not going to make that.
Right. It was Patrick Mahomes.
Right. But so if you see beat writer tweets about these interception, it's like this long list of people going, oh, he sucks. We're terrible. The season's over. So I don't know. I would say that the Dolphin fan is so starved for something good that I can understand if they're just really happy that Tua is completing passes at practice.
Geoff Mosher from the Inside the Birds podcast. Newest episode of the pod dropped this morning. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts, InsideTheBirds.com for all your Eagles training camp coverage. Geoff, I want to ask you also about Miles Sanders. Over the weekend, he basically was, for lack of a better term, a little complaining about how people were reporting about how he was out there. Nick Sirianni came out and said, Sanders is our guy. But, Geoff, you guys on the Inside the Birds have talked about multiple times how much the Eagles love Kenny Gainwell. So, how much of what's going on is, maybe Sanders just reacting to the pressure being on him?
So, yeah, I think Miles Sanders is absolutely driven this year, and perhaps to a point where, obviously driven by he wants a contract, driven by he wants to show that he's better. I don't even think he has to show it from a talent standpoint, but more from a durability standpoint, right? And he clearly wants opportunities. He said that. He wants to be able to stay on the field so he can get the ball more. And I think he's sort of so driven by it that he's now allowed it to become personal in like that Michael Jordan way of like, and I took that personally, except the thing is he's not Michael Jordan. And he, in my opinion, where I don't defend him is let's get you to a level, Miles, where you're already a great running back who's getting slighted, and then you use that as a motivation. Not a guy who really has left some meat on the bone of your career so far. Let's get you to that point first. And I think the fact that he's even talking about it in public and felt disrespected by articles that were, true, that he did get the second team reps the other day in practice, whether that was by design or just happenstance in their rotation, doesn't matter. But I feel like it would be best for him to just funnel it all out and do your job when you get the ball in your hand, and everything else will take care of itself. So it's sort of disappointing to see him like really verbalizing it and knowing that it's on his mind, because that could lead to pressing, but that's all. We'll see how it goes. But on the other, to the other side, I think people are overreacting to the fact that he took second team reps, and they're not understanding the full context. The Eagles only have 5 running backs in camp. They have Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott, and then the 2 other guys that they have are Kennedy Brooks and Jason Huntley, who are not going to be on the team unless something goes terribly wrong. And again, limited amount of 7-on-7, 11-on-11. So they're only using 3 running backs, Gainwell, Sanders, and Scott. And they do want to get, it's more to me a testament of how they feel about Kenneth Gainwell, who they know can also catch the ball pretty well, than it's any knock against Miles Sanders. Because the one observation I've made so far, and Adam made the same thing when he was there last week, is Miles Sanders is bigger and stronger. I noticed that today, definitely. He looked, especially his lower trunk area, his lower body, just bigger and more stout. He said he worked on that. And I thought he looked really good and explosive today, and I don't think the Eagles think any differently about him. I think they think highly of Kenneth Gainwell. So that's not a knock on Miles Sanders. And I fully expect that when they're running the ball, Miles Sanders is going to get a lot of carries unless he has some issues again with putting the ball on the ground or dropping passes. But I did notice today at the end of the runs, he was like, he had the double secure, both hands cradling the football, like tucked in to the stomach. He is putting an emphasis on that.
Yeah, the last 2 seasons, Miles Sanders only appeared in 12 games each of the last 2 seasons, which means 1 year he missed 4 games, 1 year he missed 5 games. If Miles Sanders only plays 12, 13 games again this year, is that going to be part of the issue with the Eagles moving forward, that this guy just doesn't play enough games? Or is it going to be more of his future going to be dependent on what happens on the field?
I mean, it won't be part of the issue. It'll be the issue, right? I mean, because again, when he's healthy, he is a productive player. He's not perfect, but he's productive enough that you want him on the field. He's dynamic. He averaged 5.5 yards per carry last year. The only other running back to do that who had at least 150 carries was Nick Chubb. So the explosion is there. The dynamic playmaking ability is there. And they're kind of tied in when we talk about production or health. Well, you have to be healthy to be productive. Now, granted, again, there's been some fumbles and drops, and that has nothing to do with health that he has to clean up. So no doubt about it. They didn't throw the ball to him today or in by design, so I didn't see him catch the ball. And we have to see when they start working on the pads will come out is when they start to do like kind of the blitz pickup drills. But he's a good running back. I think people are a little bit too sort of dismissive of him and thinking that Kenny Gainwell is going to be the lead back like by week 1 or week 2, and I don't see that.
Well, I said this earlier in the show, Geoff. People forget that Sanders, he was top 10 in the NFL his rookie year in yards from scrimmage.
Yep.
When he first got here, he was I think what was it, 500 receiving yards and 800 rushing yards that year. So we know he's capable of being at a certain level. It's just a question of, can he maximize it now coming into year 4 in the NFL?
Yeah, I think it's very clear right now of all the running backs the Eagles have, he is the most dynamic and explosive. Gainwell has good shiftiness. He can make things happen, not taking anything away from him. But look, go back 2 years ago, even when they struggled at 4-12 and he had all those runs of 70 or more yards. I mean, he has a second level explosion that it really helps to have in your offense, especially when you have a great offensive line that can give you the first 3 to 5, and all you're asked to do is make a safety miss. He's got that. And so that's a commodity that not everybody has, and you want to be able to keep that and have that.
Couple more questions for Geoff Mosher from the Inside the Birds podcast, InsideTheBirds.com, at Geoff Mosher NFL on Twitter. Now, we mentioned a couple times tomorrow is pads, but explain to people what that means in today's NFL, because there's still a lot of Eagle fans who remember being in pads from 20 years ago, and that was a different story.
Right. No, so pads means everything I saw today will happen again, just with pads on. They will not tackle to the ground. Nick Sirianni made that very clear today. And they will not be in pads every single day. They have days divided in color coded. There's red, yellow, and green. Red, low intensity. Yellow was today, medium intensity, and tomorrow will be high intensity. So when pads come out, it definitely ratchets up. So even without full tackling to the ground, you will see, I believe you'll see the offensive linemen be able to assert themselves a little bit more, and that will help with the passing game and the pass protection, and then maybe enable a little bit more of a downfield passing game. But in general, one-on-ones, anything that you do gets a little more physical when the pads come out. So there's always that fun. It's definitely not what it used to be. Ain't no Oklahoma drills going on. Ain't no two-a-days, but it still brings the level of intensity up.
We didn't get much to the defense, but what were your thoughts on what you saw, at least you got to see of the defense, who was actually out there?
Yeah, so it looked to me like it obviously, as we've been talking about, multiple fronts. They played some of their 3-4/5-2 looks with Jordan Davis, and I thought Jordan Davis looked spry. I thought he looked active. And then they would vary between that and then the second round of 11-11s. It looked to me like more nickel, right? Like a 4-3 pass rushing look where you had Sweat as a over left tackle, hand in the dirt, and Hassan Reddick standing up on the other side. Now Fletcher's still not practicing, so your other pass rushers were Hargrave, and they kind of rotated some other guys next to him, whether they were in run or pass defense. But Marlon Tuipulotu looks good, looks spry. He's playing some nose when Jordan Davis is not in there. So, they waived Luther Ellis with an injury, I guess, and everybody wondered, well, how do you back him up? And Marlon Tuipulotu was a guy they drafted last year because even though he's not 350 pounds, he's a strong enough, stout enough athlete to be able to play that nose in a backup role if need be. And with Fletcher Cox off the field, he's getting some run in those nose and 3 technique situations. I also saw Jordan Davis lining up as a 3 technique and some 4-3. So he's moving around pretty well there. The one thing you got to watch with him, Nick Sirianni was asked about Jordan Davis's weight. And he said he came in at the weight we asked him to be at, but we're always going to be on him. We always got to make sure we're on him. So we asked someone asked Jordan Davis, what weight do they want you to play at? And he said 340, 330 in that range. And then the follow-up was, well, are you that? And he was like, oh, I'm working every day and, trying hard. He never answered the question, and Nick Sirianni never directly answered the question either. It leads me to believe that Jordan's probably a little bigger right now than they want him to be, which is why I think Nick Sirianni talked about how they have to stay on him every day on that.
Well, something interesting to keep an eye on, the story of Jordan Davis's physique, we'll call it. Physiology.
Yeah. And Nakobe Dean, I know a lot of people are wondering, like, why am I hearing about Nakobe Dean taking first team reps? He's Nakobe Dean. And as we talked about on the pod, I in my almost 20 years of covering the team, I don't remember any third round pick who just snapped his fingers and was, a first teamer by the fourth practice. I mean, he still has to earn his stripes. No matter what you thought of him, if you thought he was top 40, I mean, he went to the third round for a reason. Yeah. So he is a third round pick, and he will be treated accordingly. Doesn't mean he's doing badly. It just means that they need to groom him and work him up, and he's got to earn the stripes.
Football is still a meritocracy the last time I checked.
That is correct.
Geoff Mosher at Geoff Mosher NFL on Twitter. The Inside the Birds podcast dropped this morning with all kinds of great insights and information. And Geoff will be back later this week for another edition of Football at 4. Geoff, I believe the next time that you are on this segment, Mike Gill should be back in this seat.
Oh, from his extended vacation that he's passing off his travel problems? Is that what, as I understand it, got quote unquote stuck in Paris?
Apparently he's stuck in Ireland now.
Oh, now it's quote unquote stuck in Ireland? What an excursion. They sound like they should make a movie about this thing.
Maybe that's what he's working on. He's working on his next movie deal. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Well, great job pinch hitting for him, Josh. Always fun.
I appreciate that. Take care, Geoff.
Take care.
Josh Hennig filling in for the aforementioned Mike Gill on the Sports Bash here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See how we will get back to your guys' thoughts, comments, your thoughts on the state of Eagles training camp. You could DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Also, text board is open, 609-403-0973 is the text board. And don't forget, if you want to win tickets to go see Russell Peters, award-winning stand-up comedian, over at Ovation Hall at Ocean Resort Casino in Atlantic City, all you got to do is take the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, pull it up on your phone. If you got the app already, you would have gotten an alert saying you can win tickets to go see Russell Peters in concert in Atlantic City. If you don't have the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, download it now for free from the Apple App Store or Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts. All you got to do is fill out the information on the form, and you are a qualifier to win a pair of tickets to go see Russell Peters perform at Ovation Hall in Atlantic City. We will announce winners later this week here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
You haven't downloaded the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app? Well, go get it now to follow all the Philly sports teams at 97.3ESPN.com. Powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
It's back to school time, so here's a lesson in big wireless hype. Flashy phone plan deals usually don't add up to actual savings. Graduate to Straight Talk Wireless and get our Silver Unlimited plan with unlimited high-speed data and 5 gigs of hotspot data for just $45 a month. Plus, get a Samsung Galaxy A13 5G for only $149, all on America's best 5G networks. Unlimited data, less money, no-brainer. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. A month equals 30 days. See latest terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Did you take those big down payments?
You're darn right I did.
Yeah, Anna. He is breaking the laws of Springfield. Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City. They made it clear. It's a crime to pay more than a dime. Every new Mitsubishi, one dime down.
Take them away. And at Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City, ask for credit amnesty.
If you bring home $350 a week, you could get up to $25,000 in credit. So So, what's the beat on inventory?
Other dealers are struggling, but not Springfield, Mitsubishi, Atlantic City.
40 new Outlanders in stock now.
An entire fleet of new and pre-owned.
New Mitsubishis from just 17 grand.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime.
Every vehicle, one dime down.
At the all-new Springfield, Mitsubishi, Atlantic City.
In Pleasantville.
They service all makes and models.
Springfield, MitsubishiAC.com. Springfield, MitsubishiAC.com.
New 22 Mirage, 16 Ford, 9 down, $249 a month for 72 months at 3% APR, plus tax tag title to qualified buyers.
They say to never mess with the classics, but Panera did just that and more with our new Chef's Chicken Sandwiches. By using pan-seared chicken, our secret garlic aioli recipe, Parmesan crisps, and pickle chips, all on a buttery brioche roll. Because if no one messed with the classics, you never have a chicken sandwich this good. New Chef's Chicken Sandwiches from Panera. Only $1 delivery fee when you order on our app. Restrictions apply. For details, visit PaneraBread.com/delivery info.
You finally got that new car, so you called your insurance company.
Your call is important to us. Please hold.
We are the tippy top, we're top insurance.
You ended that call with their jingle stuck in your head. Then you called NJM.
Thanks for calling NJM Insurance. This is Claudia. Let's see if we can save you up to 25% on your auto insurance.
No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Visit NJM.com for a quote.
Powered by NJM. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
With South Jersey information you need to know, I'm Vin Avenue. New Jersey is getting closer to mandatory water restrictions as parts of New Jersey are already in drought. A bill in D.C. aimed at expanding health care coverage for military veterans exposed to toxins and burn pits during their service has another vote in the works. And New Jersey does not have any laws limiting the number of dogs and cats one household can own, but each town can implement its own restrictions if they so choose to do so. Get more South Jersey information right now on our app. Your forecast is next.
This summer, it's playtime in Atlantic City. Play all day, play all night, and always play to win. Visit AtlanticCityNJ.com to press play and win big.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. The rest of this first week of August shall bring the return of heat and humidity, and really only one rain chance coming at the end of the week. Mainly clear tonight, low of 73. Mostly sunny, hot and humid tomorrow, high 92. More sunshine, very warm and not as humid Wednesday, a high of 88. But dangerous near record heat returns on Thursday, partly sunny and 97. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
We're Town Square Media, and along with the awesome radio station you're listening to right now, we're publishers of best-in-class national entertainment brands like Taste of Country, Pop Crush, and more. And when combined with our local brands, we can reach over 70% of consumers in our community. At Town Square, all this digital clout puts us in a unique position to help local businesses grow with powerful marketing solutions. In addition to local radio, we're experts at web design and SEO, plus targetable advertising solutions like streaming TV, addressable geofencing, YouTube, Snapchat, Facebook, Spotify, search engine marketing, and so much more. That may sound like a lot of buzzwords, but really all that matters is we can deliver a relevant and ideal target audience to your business with data-informed decisions. No guessing, no waste, and you gain a trusted marketing partner with Town Square Media.
Take your business to the next level. Call our Director of Sales, Jim McLean, today at 609-910-5247.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
4:32 on a Monday on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig filling for Mike Yell on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank and CIL. Usually this segment is the headlines. I don't know if this is much headlines as much as I'm just going to be rapid firing some news stories here because literally like in the last several minutes, a bunch of news items just came down. So let's first start with the Phillies. So according to Scott Lauber from the Philadelphia Inquirer, Bryce Harper had the pins removed from his thumb. The Phillies are, quote, consider the fracture to be healed. And the Phillies say that Harper will continue his rehab and he will start hitting progression soon. So, very good news on the Bryce Harper front. Now, I don't personally know what that means. Okay, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, and I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, so I don't know if rehab and hitting progression means that Harper is going to be back in 2 weeks or 4 weeks. I remember the original projection was that he would be back the first week of September. So, if Harper's back by Labor Day weekend, that's still a positive, but at least some good news on the Harper front. Also, a couple of trades have gone down. The Houston Astros have acquired Trey Mancini from the Orioles. The Yankees have acquired Frankie Montas and reliever Lou Trevino from the A's. So they got not one but two pitchers from Oakland, which means I'm assuming the Yankees gave up a small haul for that, because for those who don't remember, during the offseason, the Twins were in hot pursuit of Frankie Montas. And the A's basically told the Twins, we want a major return for Frankie Montas. And the idea was that teams are trying to wait out the market to force the A's to accept a slightly lesser deal to get Montas. Well, you have a situation now where, I haven't seen the exact trade details for Montas, but again, I'm assuming that it took a serious amount, because earlier today, the A's started informing teams that they were, closing the bids and they were making a deal with somebody else. And I saw John Heyman report this morning that the idea was the Yankees were the front runners to get Montas. Well, the Yankees didn't just get Montas, they got Trevino as well. So that's going to be a couple of nice upgrades for the Yankees. And again, the Astros got Trey Mancini. So the deals are starting to fly in baseball. Still nothing for the Phillies yet, but at least the good news came out. Bryce Harper, pins removed from the thumb. He can start ramping up his rehab toward return this week. So those are some latest updates from baseball. Now, when it comes to football, a little bit of an interesting news involving the NFC East. James Washington is injured, the wide receiver for the Cowboys. And the reports believe that it was potentially a Jones fracture. Jones fracture is report. I'm watching the video. Ooh, that hurt. I can see why Washington went down. That was not a good look. Oh yeah, that looks like he's going to be out for a while. I can tell you right now. He couldn't even get off the field barely. He barely got off the field before he had to go back down on the knee. But they believe it was a Jones fracture he suffered it. Because if you watch the video I'm watching, it looks like he goes up for the ball and his feet kind of get tangled with Trevon Diggs, who's guarding him. And when he came down, it looked awkward. And when he got up, I don't think he realized it was broken at first. And then when he started walking, it was like oh no, this hurts. Oh man, I got to get off the field. So, and the reason why this is big news for the NFC East is because remember, James Washington was supposed to be one of the replacements, right? The Cowboys lost both Amari Cooper via trade and Cedric Wilson via free agency this offseason. And the idea was that James Washington was supposed to be one of the players that come in there and fill the void, shall we call it, of them being out. So you have a situation where now with no James Washington, that's not a good look for the Cowboys. I understand that Jalen Colbert is anticipated to be a high-level slot corner, but I got to tell you, he's still a rookie. He's still learning the offense, and there's no guarantee that he's going to be ready week one to do that job. So if you're the Cowboys and Washington's going to miss time, do you maybe call Odell Beckham Jr. to see if, how he's doing? People forget Odell Beckham is still out there. I certainly haven't seen any report of him signing anywhere. So, this might be a situation where could Odell come back to the NFC East? I'm just saying. Odell Beckham hasn't really put out any information about what he's doing or anything except for, some workout videos of him training in his recovery. But we haven't seen a bunch of this is the team I want to go to, this is the team I'm interested in, or any of that stuff. Everything has been about, I'm putting in the work. Odell keeps saying, if Odell's putting in the work and you're the Cowboys and you need receiver help, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. So, a couple of news items out there. Over on the text board at 609-403-0973. Cole from LBI chimes in. I hope my Mets can pull off this trade and get JD Martinez from the Red Sox. It's from Cole in LBI. I got to be honest, Cole. The Red Sox situation is frankly bizarre. There's been a lot of conjecture about what is going on in Boston, and in light of the fact that we don't know what's going on with Juan Soto, we don't think Shohei Ohtani is going anywhere. At least there's reports out there that he will not be traded before the deadline. There's still a chance he gets traded this offseason. Where does that leave a team like the Red Sox in their basically purgatory they're in at 51 and 52 this year, and them basically trying to decide, are they buyers or sellers? I mean, from the Gas League in, the Red Sox got to be sellers, right? But they've been pretty quiet so far. I mean, if you're the Mets and you get JD Martinez, that's a pretty incredible move. Because JD Martinez, I don't care how he's hitting this year, he's still a very good and very dangerous hitter. And for a team like the Mets, you could argue that the Mets' weakness this year at times has been their hitting. Okay? I would argue the Phillies have a better offense than the Mets do overall this year. The Mets, they have a pretty good darn pitching staff. The Mets are they're one of only two teams in the National League that have allowed under 400 runs against this year. I would argue the Mets' strength has been their pitching and that their hitting has been a little inconsistent. There's a bunch of teams that have scored more runs than the Mets have this year. The Braves being one, the Phillies score one more run than them. The Dodgers are way ahead of them. The Giants are right there with them, basically, offensively. So, not that the Mets' offense has been bad, but, getting a guy like JD Martinez definitely changes the dynamics of everything. (609-403-0973) on the text board. You also can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. So some of the headlines from around the NFL. Trey Mancini to the Astros. The Yankees are getting both Frankie Montas and Trevino, the relief pitcher from the A's. Bryce Harper has the pins removed from his thumb. And James Washington looks like he might be done for the year for the Cowboys. Very, very bad break for them down there. By the way, this just came down a minute ago from John Heyman. Reports are the Dodgers remain in on Juan Soto. They have a big prospect stockpile to work off of, and the recent history of deadline deals, and they have a good rapport with the Nats after the Scherzer and Turner trades last year. Padres and Cardinals were considered favorites, but there are no reasons to count out LA at this point with 24 hours to go to the deadlines from John Heyman. So Some interesting things with baseball going on right now, and we'll keep you apprised here on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle.
Your official station for Summer at the Shore.
There goes the runner. The pitch is a little high. Throw to second. Out at second. Oh, JT Real Mucho with an absolute laser down to second to get Arenado.
97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Calling Philly sports fans. Travel with the pros at Philly Sports Trips. If you're a diehard Philly fan looking for some great Philly sports road trips, it's time to check out the full trip lineup at phillysportstrips.com.
How do you make the most of your land? Shaw does it behind the wheel of a John Deere 1025R compact tractor.
Shaw stands for skilled hands at work.
And he lives up to the name as he uses his versatile tractor to make
the earth take the shape that I wanted to take.
And the Allens fire up their John Deere 3032E compact tractor to grow about 9 acres of flowers. Because the beauty of having land is deciding how to make it yours. There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. Learn how to make the most of yours at Deere.com. Nothing runs like a Deere.
This is a court-ordered notice. If you were subject to the data breaches of the United States Office of Personnel Management and you experienced an out-of-pocket loss after the breaches, you could be eligible for a payment from a class action settlement. To see if you're eligible, go to opmdatabreach.com or call 1-855-917-3567. That's opmdatabreach.com or call 1-855-917-3567.
Come on, giddy up, get a move on.
Where are we going, Tex? Tombstone, Abilene, Dodge City?
Nope, we're headed east. We gotta get going. We still got a long ride in front of us, and I ain't gonna miss Chicken Palooza for nothing.
It's Royal Farms Chicken Palooza with great chicken box, sandwich deals, and more all summer long. Get a 2-piece world-famous box, white or dark meat, for just $6, and 10 cents of each sale will be donated to local charities. You can also get a classic, spicy, or deluxe world-famous chicken sandwich. Plus, you can register for a chance to win world-famous chicken for a year. Royal Farms Chicken Palooza. Nobody wants to miss it.
Come on, you horsies. We're almost there.
Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
No purchase necessary to enter or win. Sweepstakes ends August 31st, 2022. Chicken for a year prize to be awarded is 8 $100 Royal Farms gift cards. For details and official rules, visit royalfarms.com/chicken-palooza-sweepstakes. Void where prohibited. Sponsored by Royal Farms.
This is a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup sound experiment. We're looking to find the perfect way to hear Reese's so you'll buy more of them. Here we go. Reese's, 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 Reese's,
Reese's. Hey, get out of here, you little stinker.
Reese's.
Reese's.
Reese's. Peanut Butter Cups. That breathy one sounded very creepy, am I right?
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You've got bugs. What's your move? A rattly can? Or a simple spritz? Bugs near your kids and pet? Will it be ingredients you can't pronounce? Ew. Or essential oils? Bother the bugs, not your family. Zevo uses essential oils, which attack bugs' biological systems, so Zevo kills bugs, plus is safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Zevo. People-friendly. Bug-deadly. Now at a store near you.
Matt Blatt Kia wants to give you independence. Yes, independence. Like freedom from down payments, freedom from payments for 3 months, and freedom from your old car. Plus, if you have a job and clear $350 per week, Matt Blatt Kia wants to approve you today on any brand new Kia or pre-owned vehicle in stock, or one of hundreds of new 2023 Kia models en route, all with 0 down and 0 payments for 90 days. So bring any trade in any condition, even if you're stuck in a loan or lease. Matt Blatt Kia wants to get you released. Get cash for your car today, even if you don't buy a car from us. But why wouldn't you buy a new Kia? Because you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matte Black Kia.
Unapproved credit plus applicable taxes and fees. See dealer for details. Not all will qualify. Deferred payment through TFCU. Interest accrues from date of sale. Offers don't combine. Go to matteblackkianj.com for complete details. Expires 8/7/22. Matte Black Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 in Toms River.
Now, back to more Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's sports leader.
4:48 here on a Monday edition of Sports Bash. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on 97.3 ESPN. FM, don't forget the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank in Seattle City. You got to have the app if you want to qualify to win a pair of tickets. Go see Russell Peters, August 20th, Ovation Hall, Ocean Casino and Resort, Atlantic City. We got 5 pairs of tickets to give away. You could be one of the winners of those pairs of tickets. All you got to do is jump on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, submit your name into the form, your name and your information, and you are automatically a qualifier. And we will announce the winners of the 5 pairs of tickets a little bit later this week, right here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN. I had to chuckle a little bit because I was coming back from the break and I flipped over to the text board. And Tom from the Phillies chimes in and says, I hope the Phillies didn't release this Harper news to ease the fact they might not be planning to make any moves for the deadline. That's from Tom in the Phillies. Tom, I certainly hope not. I don't think so. From what I understand, I believe today all along was supposed to be the next check-in for Harper with the doctors about the thumb. I think it was less about the deadline than just about, the timing of his recovery. So I think that's what it has to do with more than anything else. So again, that's my perspective on it. I get the feeling this was more of just a happenstance than anything else. I don't think it was a pure distraction, but Tom and the Villas, you did make me laugh. So I appreciate that. A little bit earlier in the show, we actually touched on the news about Paul Sacco, the head coach over at St. Joe's in Hamilton, saying it's going to be his last year. And it's a huge story because, this guy's been a staple of football in Hamilton for decades on end. When I was in high school, that guy was one of the biggest name coaches in high school football in the area. It was him. It was Coach Coffey over at Mainland. There was a handful of these coaches that you looked at over the last 20 years, and they were just a part of the fabric of the community. And Coach Sacco, his comments were a little controversial, and I bring that up because the St. Joe Academy released their own statement, basically confirming that this will be the final season for Coach Sacco at St. Joe's Academy. No offense to them, they don't address any of his comments directly that he made to the press of Atlantic City. So, they don't deny anything that Coach Sacco said in this statement about how, going in a different direction and all that stuff. It seems like that the people who run St. Joe's are trying to avoid any controversy, even though their head coach was not afraid to speak his mind in that interview. So, if you didn't hear our conversation with Mike McGarry earlier in the show, Coach Sacco basically said that, he met with the administration and they want to take the school in a different direction, and that he basically decided that, he wants to, walk away on his own terms, basically. So something to keep an eye on with high school football just weeks away. Text board is open, 609-403-0973. By the way, to the texter who texted earlier, I am aware that Odell Beckham Jr. is coming off a torn ACL, okay? The point about Odell is Odell's in the gym working out. Like, there's a gazillion videos out there of him, doing different things in the gym, different workouts. So, I know that people are saying, oh, he won't be ready to play football until November. But, I mean, this is August 1st. And what was it? February, March, April, May, June, July. You're 6 months removed and he's already in the gym doing workouts. So either he's a super healer or maybe we don't know all the details about how severe or not severe the injury was. So I'll just leave it at that. To the guy who texted in another trade proposal, look, I'm at the point where I appreciate that you guys take the time out of your day to try to create these trade proposals. Listen, I appreciate that you found the way for the Phillies to bring in Madison Bumgarner and Mark Melancon, but I don't know if here's the problem. All right. And this is not to be, I appreciate the fact that those of you out there come up with these trade ideas and are sitting around but here's the problem. I'm always going to ask the same two questions. Number one, why would fill in the blank team want fill in the blank player? And two, you mentioned Marshawn. Okay, do the Arizona Diamondbacks really want the catcher? Can you really trade two pitchers and not send them two pitchers in return? I mean, does anybody really want the kid Ortiz? I get it. You're acquiring a pitcher you have control of under contract next year. I think it's going to take a little bit more than what you're proposing to get the player. Listen, if the Phillies came out of this deadline with Madison Bumgarner and Mark Melancon, I'm assuming they gave up more than Mosher and Ortiz and a couple of pieces.
We get it. You're not going to work just anywhere. You're smart, you're ambitious, and you want to help others. You want a place where you can thrive, feel fulfilled, and have an opportunity for growth, all while making an incredible living. Right now is the perfect time to join the team at Town Square Media as a marketing consultant. Join one of the fastest growing digital companies in America where you get to help build client solutions with real local influencers and sell brands like TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. If this sounds exciting to you, let's have a conversation. Our comp package is amazing with unlimited earning potential, including base salary, mobile phone, auto expense, 401k match, trip incentives, and more. If you're competitive, driven, and have the ability to communicate great ideas, we'd love to hear from you. With digital advertising expected to double over the next 3 years, the timing could not be better. Reach out to Mike Rubel, Market President, at 609-910-5249 or visit careers.townsquaremedia.com. Town Square Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, I'm Jackie, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is the chicken. It is golden brown, so juicy, so delicious. It's the perfect savory start to my day.
Hey, I'm Matt, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is the freshly baked, flaky, buttery biscuit. When I take a bite, it's kind of like, crispy, soft, crispy. Crispy outside, soft interior, crispy chicken. There's really nothing like it.
Start your day with the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit, available on the Chick-fil-A app. Real Chick-fil-A guests paid for their testimonials.
Almost 3 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage, the world's only nose cleaner that helps flush out airborne germs with powered suction. But what do doctors have to say about Navage? Here's Dr. Tonya Farmer, a board-certified ear, nose, and throat specialist.
Most airborne allergens and viruses enter through your nose. When that happens, it can cause congestion and irritation, and that just makes you feel miserable. You can get a cold, you can get flu, sinus infections, or even worse. Flushing your nose with a saline solution is the most effective way to flush all of those dangerous threats out of your nose. So now when patients come in my office, I tell them I highly recommend that you use Navage on a daily basis for overall good health and wellness.
And Navage is all natural and drug-free at Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Staples has everything for school at great prices. So this year you won't go back to school. You'll be ready to move forward and build that papier-mâché volcano.
I am not cleaning this up.
Ooh, yeah, I meant the kids. Staples will help them move forward. Right now, Crayola 24-count crayons and 4-ounce Elmer's glue are just 50 cents each, and 1-inch binders are only $1.99. Everything on your list at amazing prices. Staples, we're not going back. We're going forward to school. Ends 8/27 in store, only limit 30.
Progressive Snapshot can save you money based on how you drive and how much you drive. So the safer you drive, the more money you could save. Now, if you didn't hear that because you were laying on the horn while driving, let me say it again. Are you a race car driver? Because if you are, you're in the wrong car and you took a wrong turn off the track a while ago. And all those cars you're trying to pass all save money with Progressive Snapshot, while you probably don't. So who's really winning? And if you did hear it the first time, nice work. You'd love Snapshot from Progressive because it rewards safe drivers. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California and North Carolina or from all agents.
Come on, we're going to be late to the cookout. I was just packing up my famous mac and cheese. I hope you packed the Pepto, too. Huh? Pepto-Bismol provides fast relief from heartburn and indigestion. You know, that uncomfortable feeling after you eat too much? And after the deviled eggs, baked beans, and barbecue ribs? You're going to need it. Barbecue ribs? I should probably pack an extra shirt, too. Good call.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto-Bismol. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Did you take those big down payments?
You're darn right I did.
Your Honor, he is breaking the laws of Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City. They made it clear. It's a crime to pay more than a dime. Every new Mitsubishi, one dime down.
Take them away. And at Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City, ask for credit amnesty.
If you bring home $350 a week, you could get up to $25,000 in credit. So, what's the beat on inventory?
Other dealers are struggling, but not Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City.
40 new Outlanders in stock now.
An entire fleet of new and pre-owned.
New Mitsubishis from just $17,000.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime.
Every vehicle, one dime down.
At the all-new Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City.
In Pleasantville.
They service all makes and models.
Springfield Mitsubishi AC.com. Springfield Mitsubishi AC.com.
New 22 Mirage, 16 Ford, 9 down, $249 a month for 72 months at 3% APR, plus tax tag title to qualified buyers.
When you hear this,
They've got him again!
and this,
He scored!
and this,
Oh boy, what a move by Embiid!
you think of us. We are sports. 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a town square media station. This is the Sports Bash with Mike Gill on 97.3 ESPN. Now, live inside the Matt Black Kia Studios, here's Mike Gill.
5 o'clock hour of the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill, 97.3 ESPN FM, and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Still to come this hour, we'll talk with CBS Sports NFL writer Geoff Kerr. He was also at Eagles practice today. We'll get in touch with him about the latest on the Eagles as well as his thoughts from around the NFL. Plus, latest news and information. Bryce Harper, we got a little news on him, his status. A couple more trades in baseball today. Some news impacting the NFC East from the Cowboys. All that and more. We'll get you updated on all the latest here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN, as we are basically 25 hours away from the MLB trade deadline. And as of this moment, the Phillies have not made a trade yet. We do not have a trade from the Phillies yet. And I'm going to stick to that yet, because I genuinely do believe that they are going to make a deal. I genuinely think that you are going to see a trade made by Dave Dombrowski. Now, what capacity that trade is, I'm not 100% sure. But I think that in some way you're going to see a deal because, one, I think as I mentioned earlier in the show, you have seen players like Andrew Benintendi along with players such as Josh Hader of the Brewers both be traded for low-level prospects, for not prospects that are elite, that are not prospects who are the best that organization has to offer. While the Yankees spent a lot of prospect capital on Frankie Montas and Lou Trevino today. To me, that is a clear sign that the Phillies can acquire someone of substance. Now, I don't know what tier that level of substance is. Is that Merrill Kelly of the Diamondbacks? Is that Mark Melanson in Arizona? Okay, is Madison Bumgarner really an attainable piece? Are we talking about Jackie Bradley Jr.? Are we talking about Ian Happ from the Cubs? What tier is that? Because the biggest part of this conversation that I know is a downer for a lot of people out there, that, this is Josh being no fun on the conversation. But listen, I'm a realist. I live in the real world. And the real world is, you can tell me all the trades you can think of. You can pitch to me all the opportunities and the options you want. But unless you have inside information that fill in the blank team, Cubs, Diamondbacks, Red Sox, let's throw in the Marlins, because there are reports out there the Marlins are willing to trade anyone not named Sandy Alcantara. Okay? Any of these teams have a player that you're interested in. Can you promise or guarantee me that that team is interested in any of the Phillies prospects that are not named Abel, Painter, O'Hoppe? Because if you can guarantee me that they do, then I feel great about the idea of acquiring said player from said team. But almost none of you can guarantee me anything. All right? Look, there's numerous reports out there the Phillies are not going to trade Painter, Abel, or O'Hoppe. We know that Hans Krause has been injured part of the year. There, I guess, is a potential the Phillies could use Luis Garcia in a trade or Griff McGarry in a trade, but we don't know for sure exactly what their value is on the open market. You have an outfielder like Ortiz, you have another shortstop like Casey Martin down in the minor league system. I know that Morales and Miller are two pitchers that might garner some interest. Muzziotti, the center fielder, I know he could have some value to some other teams. Christian Hernandez, he's only at A+, but I know that he's a guy that other teams have talked about having interest in. So again, the Phillies have prospects that they can trade, but the question is, if you're not going to trade anyone in the top, let's say 5 prospects, according to MLB, if you go by MLB.com's rankings and you go by the reporting out there, the assumption is the Phillies have no interest in trading any of their top 5 prospects. So if you're not going to trade from the top 5, what number is it? Is it Garcia, the shortstop, at 6? Is it McGarry, the 8th prospect in the system? Is it Ortiz the 11th prospect in the system? Like, what tier are we talking about trading? That's the first question. We don't know those details. Second thing we don't know for sure is, what do other teams think of these prospects? If you were to talk to the Arizona Diamondbacks, Chicago Cubs, the Miami Marlins, the Boston Red Sox, the Kansas City Royals, who have Whit Merrifield still potentially as a trade piece out there. Colorado Rockies have some interesting players who could be traded. Do those teams value and respect and have the interest in said prospects? And that's really, I think, where the rub is. I think the bigger problem is less about the Phillies should get XYZ. It's about the fact that there's none of us, not you, not me, not any of us, who can confirm what other teams really value when it comes to the Phillies minor league system. It has been said by a lot of people who know much more about baseball than I do that the Phillies have one of the most weak and lacking of depth minor league systems in all of baseball. So we don't have the depth of the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Padres, the Cardinals, the Rays. Then when we're offering, what is the value of that? Look at the Sixers right now. Remember all those rumors about the Sixers getting calls about Matisse Thybulle? Well, it's August 1st, and Matisse Thybulle is still a 76er. So what does that mean? Does that mean that nobody wants Matisse Thybulle? That all those reports out there were wrong? No, it doesn't mean that at all. What it means is that the Sixers are looking for a specific player in return if they're going to trade Thybulle. The same thing goes for Shake Milton. The same thing goes for Furkan Korkmaz. Now, I'm not saying that by the time we get the training camp for the Sixers, which is several weeks away, that I couldn't foresee Korkmaz being traded for Eric Gordon, or Korkmaz and Shake Milton for Eric Gordon. Or, again, it's not that I can't say those things won't happen. But what does Houston think of Korkmaz and Shake Milton? Do those guys have enough value to Houston for them to think that trading Eric Gordon is worth it? I have no idea. I don't know the Rockets front office personally. I've never spoken to anybody in the Houston front office. I don't know anybody personally that knows what the Rockets think of those guys. So the same thing goes with the Sixers. We are 24 hours and 50 minutes away from the deadline tomorrow. I can't promise you that any of these Phillies prospects are guys that other teams want. It doesn't matter what Jackie Bradley or Ian Happ's contracts are, or Madison Bumgarner, or Mark Melancon, or Josh Bard of the Rockies, or Whit Merrifield of the Royals. We can rationalize to ourselves what these other teams should do, but we can't be sure what these other teams really think, what they really value in return. And that's the real reason why a guy like Tom and Margate said earlier today that he's praying the Phillies get another Gibson-like starting pitcher. There's a reason why Tom in the Villas is tongue-in-cheek, but worried that the Phillies are putting out the Bryce Harper news to ease the fact that they might not get the player that they want. The reason why the people who are listening right now have these worries is because of exactly what I'm saying. That I can't guarantee or promise you that the Royals or the Red Sox or the Marlins or the Rockies or the Diamondbacks have any interest in Ortiz or Garcia or McGarry or Morales or Martin or either Garcia or Simmons or Perez or Musiotti, James McCarthy. It doesn't matter who the prospect is. Just because you or I place a value on someone doesn't mean somebody else does as well. Until I see Dombrowski pull the trigger on a real trade, not the trade that happened this weekend. I mean a real trade, like the other teams around baseball are doing. Only then will I be able to tell you for sure what is going on. Because this weekend, the Phillies made a trade. And then they made some moves in conjunction with those trades. What did the Phillies do? They acquired Edmundo Sosa. Sosa is basically a utility player. He's a guy who can play every infield position. And they traded Jojo Romero to get him. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because think about who Jojo Romero is, first of all. Jojo Romero is a guy who is just coming off being injured. He literally was not around most of this year because he got injured last year. This is a guy in his major league career has an over 7 ERA in 25 appearances. Jojo Romero is a guy who, again, coming off an injury, was on the Phillies 40-man roster. He is a guy that if you go by his minor league career, he has a 3.63 ERA. In his minor league career, he has 366 strikeouts and 404 innings pitched. Now, me, Josh Hennig, filling in for Mike Gill in the Sports Bash, not guy who works in Major League Baseball front office. I go by the belief that if you can't have more strikeouts than innings pitched in the minor leagues, you might not be the most effectual pitcher when you get to the major leagues. But the Phillies traded him for a utility infielder and then optioned Johan Camargo to the minor leagues. So you bring in a guy in Sosa, a guy who has a career 245 batting average in 177 major league games. A guy who at the major league level has played games at shortstop and second and third base. And you bring him in here to basically replace Johan Camargo. The same Johan Camargo who has 3 home runs, 15 RBIs, and a 237 batting average. You could rationalize that Camargo might be a better hitter than Sosa. But for whatever reason, they value Sosa over Camargo right now. And the Cardinals determined that a utility player, a guy like Sosa, has the value of a pitcher with a 7 ERA at the major league level. I have no idea what to do with that information. I'm not going to sit here and try to act like I'm so smart and I got it all figured out. I know. I have no idea. Okay? I know just as much as you do. When I saw that trade on Saturday, my first thought was somebody wanted Jojo Romero. Really? That was my first instinct. I was like, someone really wanted Jojo Romero. Good for them. Good for you to get that guy out of here. Meanwhile, the Phillies don't even play a game today. You would hope that means that Dombrowski is working on something. Hopefully. It is absolutely wild to me that we are sitting here basically just under 25 hours from the trade deadline, and we still know no more about the Phillies than we do now. Again, I am not going to sit here and pretend like I have it all figured out. But what I am saying is, when you guys send me these trades, or when I see rumors online about the Phillies could be interested in Jackie Bradley Jr., or, the Phillies have made phone calls about Mark Melancon, there's a part of me that says, that sounds great. That sounds all well and good. But what exactly are we trading for these guys? The evaluation of the Phillies minor league system is that it's not good. But the hope is, as I mentioned earlier today on the Sports Bash here on 97.3 ESPN, Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill, I mentioned earlier today, the hope is that if the Padres got Josh Hader for what most people believe are only above average prospects, and if the Yankees got Andrew Benintendi for what the experts are saying are above average prospects, then the Phillies have enough above average prospects to go out and get someone of relevance. I don't know who that is. Is that Martin Perez? Is that Madison Bumgarner? Is that Mark Melancon? Is that Whit Merrifield? Is that Jackie Bradley Jr.? No idea. I can hope. I can wish. I can twiddle my thumbs and hope for the best, but I don't know for sure. Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill here on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN FM. By the way, apparently the trade that sent Mancini to Houston is a 3-team deal. So Jeff Passan of ESPN is reporting that Baltimore is getting Seth Johnson and Chase McDermott. The Houston Astros are getting Trey Mancini and Jaden Murray. That's interesting. And that Jose Siri is going to Tampa. So Jose Siri was a guy who was rumored to be a guy the Phillies would be interested in. Now he's going to Tampa. I guarantee you that Tampa's minor league system is so good that there's almost nobody in the Philly system that they would want. So the idea of you now getting Jose Siri is pretty much DOA. So now we're back to Jackie Bradley Jr. Oh, my goodness. Reports are is that Siri will become the Rays' everyday center fielder. The prospect Seth Johnson was Tampa's number 6 prospect going to the Orioles. Given the idea that Mancini, and I'm just reading this report here, given that Mancini is going to be a free agent, the Orioles got a very good long-term return on investment, even though the Astros are getting very good return on their investment as well. So this sounds like a win-win for all three teams, honestly. Like, now that I'm looking at it, the Rays get a bona fide starting center fielder. Baltimore gets more minor league talent, and Houston gets a hitter and a pitcher that can help them out immediately. Interesting. Very interesting. It's definitely very interesting to line all that up. I don't know what that means specifically for the Phillies, but man, you just see all the moving parts of some of these situations, and you're just kind of wondering what that means. Telling you guys right now, I'm not very comfortable in my faith in the Phillies minor league system being of value to anybody. Josh Hennig, filling in for Mike Gill, here on the Sports Bash 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. Don't forget, you can use the 97.3 ESPN mobile app for your opportunity to win tickets to go see Russell Peters, award-winning comedian, over at Ovation Hall at Ocean Resort Casino in Atlantic City. He's performing on August 20th, and we have 5 pairs of tickets. All you have to do is go to the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, fill out the form, put in all your information, and you are a qualifier to go see Russell Peters. We will announce the winners of the 5 pairs of tickets later this week on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill here on 97.3 ESPN. All right, still to come, Geoff Kerr, CBS Sports NFL writer, will join us on the other side. From my understanding, I believe it's Geoff Kerr's birthday. So hopefully that means Geoff is still coming on the show. Been a busy day for guys like Geoff Kerr. Geoff Kerr's been over at the Phillies practice, the Eagles practices, so we'll get into that with him. We'll also get his perspective at the national NFL guy on what is going on with Deshaun Watson and that whole situation. A lot of dueling perspectives out there on this Deshaun Watson mess. So we'll ask Geoff Kerr his thoughts as well, coming up on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. And always, we will check in on the text board as well a little bit later this hour. 609-403-0973 is the text board, and your DMs to 97.3 ESPN mobile app is free thanks to First Bank of Seattle City.
Our love for sports is what makes us different from any other station in South Jersey.
Oh, yeah!
Number 1 for live sports and sports talk. 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Matt Blatt Kia wants to give you independence. Yes, independence. Like freedom from down payments, freedom from payments for 3 months, and freedom from your old car. Plus, if you have a job and clear $350 per week, Matt Blatt Kia wants to approve you today on any brand new Kia or pre-owned vehicle in stock, or one of hundreds of new 2023 Kia models en route, all with 0 down and 0 payments for 90 days. So bring any trade in any condition, even if you're stuck in a loan or lease. Matt Blatt Kia wants to get you released. Get cash for your car today, even if you don't buy a car from us. But why wouldn't you buy a new Kia? Because you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
Unapproved credit plus applicable taxes and fees. See dealer for details. Not all will qualify. Deferred payment through TFCU. Interest accrues from date of sale. Offers don't combine. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details. Expires 8/7/22. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 and Tom's River.
Venture X from Capital One is the travel card for people always asking,
Where next?
you earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights booked through Capital One Travel, and 2x miles on everything else you buy with Venture X. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Almost 3 million people use Navage to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage, the world's only nose cleaner that helps flush out airborne germs with powered suction. But what do doctors have to say about Navage? Here's Dr. Tonya Farmer, a board-certified ear, nose, and throat specialist.
Most airborne allergens and viruses enter through your nose. When that happens, it can cause congestion and irritation, and that just makes you feel miserable. You can get a cold, you can get flu, sinus infections, or even worse. Flushing your nose with a saline solution is the most effective way to flush all of those dangerous threats out of your nose. So now when patients come in my office, I tell them I highly recommend that you use Navage on a daily basis for overall good health and wellness.
And Navage is all natural and drug-free at Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
The biannual blowout is just a week away, and we've got a lot of work to do.
Keenan's Rug Emporium is rolling out a Labor Day bonanza.
Have that flatweed shipment coming in.
He needs 10 new sales associates as the crowds loom large.
Someone run a stock check on all the Moroccan 8x10s?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
With South Jersey information you need to know, I'm Vin Avenue. New Jersey is getting closer to mandatory water restrictions as parts of New Jersey are already in drought. A bill in D.C. aimed at expanding healthcare coverage for military veterans exposed to toxins and burn pits during their service has another vote in the works. And New Jersey does not have any laws limiting the number of dogs and cats one household can own, but each town can implement its own restrictions if they so choose to do so. Get more South Jersey information right now on our app. Your forecast is next.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. The rest of this first week of August shall bring the return of heat and humidity, and really only one rain chance coming at the end of the week. Mainly clear tonight, low is 73. Mostly sunny, hot and humid tomorrow, high 92. More sunshine, very warm and not as humid Wednesday, a high of 88. But dangerous near record heat returns on Thursday, partly sunny and 97. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
This summer, escape to the Jersey Cape, a place that's real and really charming. Come relax, really relax on our beaches, or maybe just sit on a porch and daydream. Explore our trails, discover our natural areas, or go camping, walk the boardwalk, visit a museum or a lighthouse, experience our eclectic dining, or try your hand at fishing and crabbing. Sample our homegrown fruits and vegetables, local wines, brews, and spirits, or participate in our outdoor activities, special events, and live entertainment found beyond our world-famous beaches. Visit the Free County Park and Zoo for a trip on the wild side. Enjoy authentic experiences where the arts easily connect to nature. The food comes directly from the sea or soil, and the outdoors go from birding to playing in the surf. Stay at a modern motel or a quaint bed and breakfast inn. Escape the everyday and pursue your passions at the Jersey Cape. It's authentically charming and sincerely yours. Escape to thejerseycape.com. Sponsored by Cape May County Tourism.
Now, back to the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN.
Josh Hennig filling for Mike Gill here on the Sports Bash. It is the first day of August. I mean, it's basically football season, right? We got the Hall of Fame game this week, the Hall of Fame ceremonies this weekend. Or what, I believe it's 27 days to college football's first game. It's a beautiful time of year. It's also apparently Geoff Kerr's birthday. And he joins us right now on his birthday here on 97.3 ESPN. Geoff, I appreciate you squeezing in some time between going to Eagles practice and then your birthday festivities to come on the show.
You know what's funny? After this, technically I am on vacation right now, but I went to Eagles camp today anyway because I love football and I wanted to raise couple articles for CBS, and I don't have to pack for Canton until tonight. So why not? Why not come on with you, Josh? Why not go to Eagles camp? Why not do what you love to do for a living?
Listen, what's that old saying? If you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
Yeah, that's true. Like everybody goes, you work today? I'm like, well, yeah. Why wouldn't I work today? The Eagles at camp. I was approved to go. Got to talk to Dick Vermeil. It's a fun day. It was a fun day at camp, and Jalen Hurts looked pretty good too. So overall, I'll just say this: that defense is going to be good. I know they're only in shells right now, but that defense looks like it's going to be very, very good this year.
Well, let's start with that because, there's been a lot of reporting about, the first few days of camp and, Sirianni went into full explanation mode today about like Jalen Hurts' 3 interceptions he's thrown in camp and everything. So my question to you, Geoff, is how much of what's been going on in camp is because the defense is a lot better and the offense is just catching up still?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both, honestly. Let's make this clear. This defense is talented. Today, Jordan Davis was the star. He's winning one-on-ones across the board. Now, he did lose to Cam Jurgens, but Cam Jurgens is a pretty beastly man in and of itself, too. But Jordan Davis, they were lining him up at nose tackle. He was just wrecking the place. James Bradbury was the star Saturday. Darius Slay's been really good this camp. This secondary is talented. Nakobe Dean is still with the second and third team, believe it or not. He's still kind of buried on the depth chart. But, again, it's early. But I just keep raving about this defensive line. I mean, you got Jordan Davis looks like he's going to be an impact player from day one. Fletcher Cox is Fletcher Cox. Javon Hargrave is Javon Hargrave. You got Sam Reddick there. You got Josh Sweat there. But overall, I just think this defense is really talented. And I don't think they ever show much on offense to begin with. That's why I hate the practice stats. It's why I hate all that stuff because to me, it's a way to evaluate, no doubt, but it's just not my cup of tea, I guess.
When you think about, you just mentioned Nakobe Dean being buried on the depth chart. How much of that is, we talked about this earlier in the show. I mean, football is a meritocracy, right? Like the guy's got to earn his way to get more playing time. Now, I'm sure that there are people out there who are like, yeah, well, Kazir White got juked out of his shoes by Jalen Hurts today, so maybe Dean should be starting. Well, I mean, Jalen Hurts is a pretty good athlete anyway, so.
Yeah, exactly. And look, they're trying different things too. Obviously, TJ Edwards, you got to make sure he's comfortable with the mic. And remember, he's no slouch either. He's a pretty solid player. Kaiser White's there. Davion Taylor. Davion Taylor's the one that they want to see do well because he was a third-round pick. And they kind of took a shot on him. I believe it was the year they got hurt. Yeah, it was 2020. So this is his third year in the league. I think Nakobe Dean's going to be fine. I think he's going to show up in the preseason, show on tape. But, again, it's all learning right now. Nakobe Dean admitted it today. He can't fake it till you make it. He did that at Georgia and just said, I just knew one package and knew it better than everybody else and was determined to know it so I could get on the field. Well, that worked. Well, with the Eagles, everybody knows that one package just as good as he does. So he's being very cerebral. I think he's just kind of soaking it all in right now. It's not that he can't get on first team. It's just I feel like he's trying to be like a sponge. I know Nick Sirianni used that phrase a lot last year, just absorbing. But I'll tell you what, this year's mantra is definitely iron sharpens iron. I think I've heard that at least 20 times over the 2 days I've been there.
Well, speaking of sharpening, what are your thoughts on the running back situation with Miles Sanders complaining about how people are reporting about him? I know Jalen Reagor was going after John Clark on Twitter for his comments on him. I was
standing next to Johnny Clark when he tweeted that. And I was like, well, he's not wrong. He's just reporting. Like, he dropped a pass. We just kind of looked and like, okay, and the whole Miles Sanders thing was overblown. I was just like, okay, they rotate backs. It's fine. I wasn't there at that practice that day, but I know it's what they do. And I'll tell you what, Josh, it was so funny on Saturday. So Miles Sanders, he had a nice cut and a nice juke on the first play of 11 on 11s. And Nick Sirianni yells right over to us in the media, he's with the ones. He's a starter. I start cracking up because I'm like, whatever. I'm a national guy. I'm not here reporting Miles Sanders is, a backup here. I know better than that. And Yeah, Miles today, I don't know what he was doing. He scored on a long run. Like it was obviously he runs to the end zone and he was pointing. And it looked like it was at either media members or at the ground, like the grass. And a couple of us were looking like, what's he pointing at? Like, is he pointing at? And he must have been pointing at the people that said he was on the second team, but I didn't know where they were. So again, I just think Miles. I don't think he takes it. Personally, I just think he uses it as fuel to the fire. And like he said, he wants to earn the respect this year. Don't write articles about me being on the second team. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Miles has been productive in this league. Now, Jalen Reagor, he might be the one who might need to stay off social media.
Well, part of the other issue is that, and I wish I could remember the person who said this on NFL Network. I would give him credit. But I was watching NFL Network this weekend, and they mentioned, they were like, if you go by Twitter and like Dolphin reporters, Tua Tagovailoa has never thrown an incompletion or an interception in his life. And I think that for some of these people, they're like, look, you have one group of media members like the Eagles who are reporting like everything good and bad. And on the flip side, you have what's going on in Miami, which is like, a coronation basically going on.
Oh, yeah, it's weird. So I was on the Dolphins Talk podcast this week with Mike Oliva. And look, Mike's probably as fair and balanced as they are. And he said, look, there's a lot of good things Tua has done. And there's some not so good things. But it does feel like, though, that it's the Dolphins versus the world. And, yeah, it could be worse. Like, you could be getting different reporting. And, again, like, Buffalo's going through this, too. Like, I just think people get too wrapped up in the whole play-by-play of training camp because they're not there. And they don't know what they don't see, right? And it's tough because when you're arguing with someone on Twitter or on Facebook, if they're not asking you a question, I'm like, well, how do you know? You're not there. Like, we're there. Like, it's just tough. Now, if someone asks you a question how like Jalen Hurts is looking, I'm going to be honest. I'm like, well, I don't look for the same things other people do. Like, I'm just trying to look through progressions and stuff like that. It's different. Like today, I thought Jalen Hurts had a good day, but I was also looking more of the one-on-ones with the linemen too. So Saturday, if push came to shove, I said, yeah, it was okay. Like it's hard for me to say bad things about, unless it's egregious in a practice, because it is a practice and they are working on stuff. So maybe that's what Dolphins writers are doing with Tua. It's like, well, we can criticize them all we want week one. Do we have to do it now?
Geoff Kerr covers the NFL for CBS Sports, joining us here on the Sports Bash. Josh Hennig, affiliated from Mike Gill here on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. All right, Geoff, let's get to the NFL story of the day. I mean, this Deshaun Watson thing is just a joke. It really is to me. I think
it is.
Like to me, and I'll let you go on about it because I've been talking about it off and on throughout the day. People don't understand that the NFL has a code of conduct policy, and that is apparently the working off point that Judge Sue Robinson went with. But I just don't understand how the NFL can rationalize Judge Sue Robinson basically using almost no NFL precedent for her decision.
So I don't know if you've been following like social media a lot today with the Deshaun. And again, this is where I'm glad I just tweet stuff on the Bird app instead of actually looking at stuff. But the one thing I did happen to catch, and everybody mentions Calvin Ridley. Silas, you remember Silas Red, the Penn State running back, went to USC? So he tweeted today, that's bull. I got a year for smoking weed. And that's kind of like, I'm like, wow, I'm defending him. Like, yeah, this is ridiculous. It seemed like the NFL wanted to give him at least a year or be indefinite, but the NFLPA fought it. I just don't think the NFL is going to accept 6 games. I really don't. And the Cleveland Browns are, to me, they're the most embarrassing thing of them all. Like, they just keep defending this guy. It's a really bad look, and their fans are defending him too, cheering for him in camp. Like, do you just not care about women at all? Do you just not care? Or is it, if it doesn't happen to me, so be it? Kind of, I don't know. It's when pressed, I kind of just want to go to female journalists and female reporters, and especially ones who cover the league, and kind of want to pick their brain on it because they're the ones who, not saying they've experienced it, but they probably know what, I don't even know how to word it, like what they're going through, or,
well,
how
Geoff,
egregious this is.
Well, Geoff, part of the problem to me is that if you or I were accused of the things that Deshaun Watson has been accused of, it doesn't matter about criminal charges or not. This is a individual who, instead of fighting for his reputation, settled out of court with 20 of the women. That is, in and of itself, in legal terms, a declaration of no contest. Right. So if you haven't proven that you're innocent, then your reputation is that you did something wrong on some level, to the point where Sue Robinson basically said in her decision that she found that there were things that were, her words, egregious that happened.
What bothers me is he should have spoke to them. Bottom line. He should have been speaking at 1:30 with Kevin Stefanski. Bottom line. Get up there and answer questions. Oh, and by the way, we're going to monitor everything you say, because the last time you talked, you sounded like a jerk. So, unremorseful. You might have gone away with something. That's how he sounded like. And I don't know. It's like, it's going to be very hard to support anything the Cleveland Browns do this year, or for the next 5 years for that matter. It just, like, it's a shame. Like, it has to, like, they're just desperate to win.
I mean, when you sell your soul to the devil,
Yeah. Well, you know what bothers me too? Someone said to me, "Why don't you go on the Falcons? Why don't you go on the Panthers? Why don't you go on the Eagles for this?" I'm like, because he's not there. He's not there. He didn't want it. He didn't want the Eagles, and he didn't want the Panthers, and he didn't want the Falcons, and they did try to get him. I didn't hide that, but when someone like the Eagles get him, there wasn't. Was there 22 even? Was there even 2 cases at that time, or was he just holding out? I don't even remember anymore. It's been a while.
Well, it didn't get over 20 until a few months ago. Because remember, it was when the one lady came out and spoke that those extra 4 or 5 women then came forward and admitted. And of course, we now know, thanks to the New York Times report, that apparently he had 66 private masseuses, basically. And now we find out that there's 30 of them who accused him of something. So read into that what you will. By the way,
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the Panthers are a train wreck too, but I think they would handle it a little bit better than Cleveland is. I think the Falcons. It's weird. Like, just look at these organizations that were interested in him, including the Eagles. Like, I feel like the Eagles would have been more equipped to handle this, but I don't think they would have took this on knowing what they know now compared to a year ago.
Yeah, my thing with the Eagles is, I'll just say this. If the Eagles would have acquired him, I would have had a lot of smack to say about Jeffrey Lurie, because the owner of this team has been very vocal in a lot of his political and socio-political positions in support of women and civil rights and a lot of things. And it'd be very hard to justify spending decades of his life in support of the causes that he has and then bring in a guy like Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, just because you want an elite quarterback, you can find one of them anywhere. Like, we don't even know if he's good anymore. To be honest,
he hasn't played in forever now.
No, it's so weird. The last time he played, I think he led the NFL in passing yards. That was 2020. That was a COVID year. He hasn't played in front of fans in 3 years.
Right.
Man, I'll tell you what, there's going to be a lot of defenders that are really going to want to hit him.
I will tell you this before I let you go, Geoff. So, as you may or may not know, I cover MMA a lot for years and UFC and stuff like that. And I remember when when Greg Hardy signed with the UFC, I had a lot of fighters say on and off the record that they wanted to fight him so bad because they wanted to hurt him. Like, they actually didn't want to they wanted to hurt him in the octagon. And those are guys in a completely different sport. Greg Hardy was released by the UFC. He was released by the UFC. I think I think he signed with the Bare Knuckle Fighting League.
The bare knuckle one. That's one I hadn't heard of. I've heard of PFL. I've heard of obviously UFC. PFL still does their fights in Atlantic City, right?
Not this year. They're going to be in New York and London for the playoffs.
Oh wow, that's different for them. So, yeah, but yeah, Greg Hardy was something else. I remember a lot of people were going to bat for him too, and I'm like, why? Like, why? But
so weird.
Again, it's just unfathomable to me how Calvin Ridley got suspended a year for $1,500. And again, I don't mind the punishment, but Deshaun Watson gets less. I don't know. Everybody will say it's a different cause, but I just keep going back to, probably in their minds, Calvin Ridley damaged the shield more than Deshaun Watson did.
Geoff Kerr, CBS Sports, at Geoff Kerr CBS on Twitter. Give him a follow there for all your NFL and Eagles news, and go wish him a happy birthday as he came on here on his birthday. Just multitasking all over the place. You are, Geoff.
I'm having orange creamsicle ice cream cake tonight before I head up to Cleveland and then Canton for the weekend. So it's going to be a nice 6-7 days off, although I probably will still try to be working because I'm going to be at a Gold Jacket dinner with a bunch of Hall of Famers, and the recorder will be with me.
All good. Take care, Geoff. Thanks for jumping on today.
Yeah, that's great. Yep. Thanks, Josh.
Josh Hennig filling in for Mike Gill here on the Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea City. We'll wrap up the show on the other side.
When you need live sports play-by-play.
Forget it. Out of here. Reese Hopkins will touch them all over that right center field wall.
And the best sports talk in South Jersey. There's only one place to go. 97.3 ESPN.
I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Did you take those big down payments?
You're darn right I did.
Your Honor, he is breaking the laws of Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City. They made it clear. It's a crime to pay more than a dime. Every new Mitsubishi, one dime down.
Take them away. And at Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City, ask for credit amnesty.
If you bring home $350 a week, you could get up to $25,000 in credit. So, what's the beat on inventory?
Other dealers are struggling, but not Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City.
40 new Outlanders in stock now.
An entire fleet of new and pre-owned.
New Mitsubishis from just $17,000.
It's a crime to pay more than a dime.
Every vehicle, one dime down.
At the all-new Springfield Mitsubishi, Atlantic City.
In Pleasantville.
They service all makes and models.
Springfield Mitsubishi AC.com. Springfield Mitsubishi AC.com.
New 22 Mirage, 16 Ford, down, $249 a month for 72 months at 3% APR, plus tax tag title to qualified buyers.
What would you do with extra money this summer? Fill the tank? How about a vacation? During Staples Fuel Your Summer Sweeps, a Staples Rewards member could win one of five $5,000 Visa gift cards to use for, or maybe... Every $50 spent in store automatically earns you an entry. Not a rewards member? Join today and at Staples Fuel Your Summer Sweeps. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Open to legal residents of the 50 U.S. and D.C. 18 and older. Ends 8/6. Visit staplesconnect.com/fuel your summer sweeps for complete rules and eligibility.
I want to take more chances with the embroidering.
Henley's vision for a new clothing line is coming into focus.
Dramatic.
They'll need an on-staff photographer to put their collection in the spotlight.
Why is no one taking shots of these?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can save just by being you. DriveWise in the Allstate mobile app gives you personalized driving feedback, and by adding it to your policy, you can save for driving safe just by being yourself. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Not available in every state. Savings based on DriveWise and other safe driving discounts. Savings vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Hey, I'm Jackie, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is the chicken. It is golden brown, so juicy, so delicious. It's the perfect savory start to my day.
Hey, I'm Matt, and the little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit is the freshly baked, flaky, buttery biscuit. When I take a bite, it's kind of like, crispy, soft, crispy. Crispy outside, soft interior, crispy chicken. There's really nothing like it.
Start your day with the Chick-fil-A Chicken Biscuit, available on the Chick-fil-A app. Real Chick-fil-A guests paid for their testimonials.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
Straight Talk Wireless knows there are plenty of reasons you might need a new phone. But switching to a better wireless provider doesn't have to be one of them. Keep your own phone and save when you switch to any Straight Talk Wireless plan, like our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with unlimited high-speed data and 5 gigs of hotspot, plus nationwide 5G on America's best networks. Keep your own phone. Switch to a better wireless plan. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Requires a compatible unlocked phone and KYOP kit. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See latest terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Mom, Dad, you should shop Amazon for back to school and save some money. See, I'm currently obsessed with superheroes and need all the superhero stuff. Superhero lunchbox, superhero backpack. But next year, it'll be something else. Maybe dinosaurs? I don't know. I'm not a fortune teller. But I can tell you not to spend a fortune and shop low prices for school on Amazon. Okay, good chat. Amazon. Spend less, smile more.
The best way to wake up is with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
All right, Josh wrapping up the show here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Before we get out of here, squeeze in a text. Mike and Marmora just getting in under the wire since Josh, I've heard the Ridley comparisons all day. Ridley was suspended by the NFL directly. The situation was not through an independent arbiter that the NFL and the NFLPA agreed on, like Deshaun Watson. The NFL can appeal the Watson decision. I think people need to calm down to the NFL's responses. First, they accept 6 games, then go nuts. I hope Deshaun gets 12 or more. Yeah, Mike and Marmora, listen, the reason why people are bringing up the Ridley thing is because the NFL could have given the Ridley thing to an independent arbiter, but they decided not to. And I think that's part of what the rub is right now. Good text, though. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great night, everybody.
We're Town Square Media, and along with the awesome radio station you're listening to right now, we're publishers of best-in-class national entertainment brands like Taste of Country, Pop Crush, and more. And when combined with our local brands, we can reach over 70% of consumers in our community. At Town Square, all this digital clout puts us in a unique position to help local businesses grow with powerful marketing solutions. In addition to local radio, we're experts at web design and SEO, plus targetable advertising solutions like streaming TV, addressable geofencing, YouTube, Snapchat, Facebook, Spotify, search engine marketing, and so much more. That may sound like a lot of buzzwords, but really all that matters is we can deliver a relevant and ideal target audience to your business with data-informed decisions. No guessing, no waste, and you gain a trusted marketing partner with Town Square Media.
Take your business to the next level. Call our Director of Sales, Jim McLean, today at 609-910-5247.
Come on, giddy up, get a move on.
Where are we going, Tex? Tombstone?